Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. Sasuke hit Naruto with the Chidori. Naruto tried to keep it from hitting his heart but was only able to move it left to the center of his chest. It hurt like hell when he felt it hit part of his heart. He felt his heart slow as he looked down. I guess. You got your wish, Teme. Sasuke smiled before dropping Naruto and clutched the side of his head. His eyes began to burn as they were forced to change into the Mangekyo Sharingan. Naruto found himself inside his mind, in front of the Kyuubi's cage. Down the hall, he saw the lights grow dimmer as Death walked to him. Hey, you dumb fox, is there a way to release you? I will if you promise me something. Make that Teme hurt a little before you take him back to Konoha and then leave my home. Sure thing, kiddo, Kyuubi said. Perform the following hand signs and then remove the seal. Tiger, ram, horse, rat, and boar. Naruto did as he said. Oddly enough, he felt it growing easier to move. He always thought it would be the other way around. Must be that the mind is being freed of the body, he decided. Grabbing onto the bars, he pulled his way up to them. When he got to it, he sat atop the plate and grabbed it by the bottom. Pulling, he felt it resist for a moment. Let go. Damn you, Naruto growled. I want him free. The seal glowed blue for a moment before he pulled it off and tore it up. The gate disappeared and he fell to the ground. Can you move, Kyuubi? Said Fox walked out of what once was his cell. I can. Now, to do it. He looked at Death as he was only 20 feet away. Then he focused on Naruto. Just before hitting him against the wall. What the hell? I let you out so you wouldn't die with me. An honorable thing too, Kyuubi said. So much so that I refused to let it disappear from this world. No matter what, my life was tied to you, until you performed those hand signs. Now, I will take your place. In exchange, you will get my chakra, Naruto no Yoko, king of the foxes. Looking over at Death, they saw him waiting. Something seemed to have confused him until he focused on where the soul he came to collect had been standing. Right where Kyuubi was now. Are you ready for the afterlife? Death asked as he extended his hand. I'm not, but I will walk with you willingly. When I see Kami, kiddo, I'll put in the good word for you. Not that you will die for a long time. You are a Biju now. Naruto opened his eyes and felt the seal on his stomach fade away. He stood up, his tails moving to better his balance. Tears slid down his face for the sacrifice given for him. And the person that caused it to come about was standing not 2 feet away, his eyes still burning. Uteme! Naruto yelled before he punched Sasuke. He flew into the far wall. The dust cleared and Sasuke stood back up, unable to believe what he saw. Naruto now had 9 fox tails behind him and 2 fox ears atop of his head. Uteme, Naruto said again, his tears still coming. He is dead because of you. The one person that ever just gave me something for no other reason than to just give it. And you killed him. He ran at Sasuke, a Rasengan forming in his hand with the help of one of his tails to shape it. Sasuke tried to form the Chidori again, but Naruto slammed into him too fast. His vision darkened before collapsing. Naruto helped each of his friends through the gate of Konoha. They didn't question his new looks, they were hurting too much to. While Sasuke was held bound by a tail. People were looking at him and openly calling him demon now. He didn't care. Ba-chan, I got him, he said as a group of Jonin came running up. Naruto? Drop that henge, you know how people think of the fox. I can't. This is no henge, Naruto replied. It was then that Tsunade noticed that he had been crying and still was. Naruto, what happened? Sasuke. A rock hit him on the side of the head. What did you do to them, demon? Someone in the crowd yelled. I didn't. Liar, someone else yelled. We should kill the damn thing before he finishes them off, another voice yelled. Look what it did to Uchiha Sasuke. I bet he influenced Itachi to do those things to get rid of the clan. From there it only got worse. Enough, Tsunade shouted. I said enough. Naruto set his friends down before moving away from them as the rocks continued. His tails began moving in their way. His head was downturned. They thought it was shame, but they didn't notice his jaw was clenching tighter and tighter. She said enough. It was full of so much killing intent that no one moved. Even Gaara and Temari were stunned. This is it? This is what I worked so hard for. What a man that proved to be a friend died for. He betrayed Konoha as you strike at me for doing everything I could to bring him back stunned but alive. I don't believe this. I don't fucking believe this. Watch your mouth in front of the Hokage, demon, an Anbu captain said. Just before a headband flew into his shoulder, driving into his flesh. I quit, he said calmly. I don't want to protect a village that is more concerned about power over loyalty. He walked away. Naruto grabbed his possessions that were of value to him and sealed them into a scroll. He hesitated as he picked up the picture of Team 7. He looked at it for a moment before he threw it at the wall and watched it shatter. He just wanted it to burn. A flame appeared at the end of his tails. Seeing this, he flicked it across the picture. He then walked out of what once was his house. Down at the street, everyone gave him a wide breach. No one wanted near him as he still held a little of the killer intent that had scared even the Hokage. Good, I don't want to talk to anyone. As he was left alone for the first time in his life, he could see why Gaara thought the blood of others was the only way to soothe his pain. Speaking of Gaara, Naruto thought when a wall of sand came up, blocking his path. Uzumaki Naruto, what is causing you this pain? Gaara asked. The person I met before would never have so much hate for his people. People change, Gaara. I change. As I can see. Why? Naruto swallowed. I tried to let the Kyuubi go, so he wouldn't die with me. On the condition that he brings Sasuke back and then leave Konoha forever. When he finally spoke again, he agreed and told me to do a jutsu. But it was a trick. The damn fox gave his life so I could continue to live. To keep such honor in the world. He gave me his power, his heritage, and he glared at the people around him, making them run at a new flare of hate they could feel. And they make light of his sacrifice and mine. To give your life for someone else is something each and every person here should honor. It is obvious that he is gone, isn't it? How else could I be like this? But they only see that now I am what they always thought, the fox. A stone full of heroes that everyone honors, but his name will never go on it because of bad blood. No, not just bad blood. Everything but a few people here is bad. He yelled the last part, looking up at the statue of the fourth. You were a fool, Yondaime. If you could see what has become of the village you love so much, you would be shedding tears at what you did. You should have let him destroy it. That is enough, a Jonin said to Naruto. Ah, if it isn't one of the, just, heroes, sworn to rid the village hidden in the leaves of the demon. Well, you have two choices, hero. You can just wait and I will leave of my own free will. Or you can try to strike me down now, like you tried and failed so many times before. As he said it, his fangs were growing larger. Naruto, calm yourself, Gaara said. If you lose control. I have never been in more control, Naruto growled. I finally see what this village is. The Kyuubi's chakra wasn't hurting me all those times, it was trying to show me the truth. The Jonin was glaring at Naruto. Hurry up and leave, beast. Not going to try your luck, Naruto taunted. What is wrong? Afraid because now, you are not just fighting a child, you are actually fighting a demon. He snarled and snapped his jaws at him. The Jonin jumped back. Thought so. So damn worthless. Gaara, if you are still here when I leave, please tell my friends bye for me. He continued walking away. Gaara let the wall fall because of what he saw. His friend, the person that saved him, was following the same path as most Jinchuriki. And it broke his heart. Sakura, I need you to talk to him, Tsunade said to the girl. He is not himself because of the sudden influx of chakra. If one of his friends were to talk to him, he might stay. Let the Dobi leave, she said, thinking about how he brought in Sasuke. If he could do that to a friend, then he shouldn't be here. Tsunade slammed her fist down on the table. And did you think about what Uchiha did to him? Did you fail to notice that hole in his cloths or the scar underneath it? Naruto almost died to bring him back alive and unhurt for the most part. Thank him that he did that. Sakura widened her eyes when she said that. By Kami, you did miss it, didn't you? Before Sakura could say anything, two people came in. Gaara of the Sand and Hyuga Hinata. That will not work, Tsunade. His anger is too hot to let even someone close to him talk him out of it. He is of the opinion right now that the fourth Hokage made a mistake when he saved this village. I believe I heard him call it a fest pool of hatred as he walked away from me. Hokage-sama, what has happened to Naruto-kun, came from Hinata. To save the village, the fourth sealed the 9 tails inside a newborn. He could do it to no other child but his own son, Naruto, Tsunade said with a sigh. Gaara nodded. He figured there was something between the deceased Hokage and his friend. The two girls dropped their jaws in shock. Then that is why no one ever helped Naruto-kun when he was a student, Hinata said, not caring that he was the son of the fourth. No way, Sakura said. That baka is the son of the greatest Hokage our village has ever seen. Stop joking, Tsunade-sama. She slammed her hands down again. She was going to say something but Hinata said something first. Do you know where he is, Hokage-sama? She looked at this crystal on her desk. He is atop of the Hokage statue right now. Gaara, can you take her there as fast as you can? Hi, he said as he laid a hand on her shoulder and they both disappeared. Tsunade turned to Sakura with disappointment in her eyes. And I thought you were his friend. One of his precious people. Naruto looked at the few good things left in Konoha. From this high, the village still looked pure. His heart was a little saddened that he was leaving. But only because of the few he was leaving behind. His nose caught the scent of lavenders. Naruto-kun, Hinata said, running over to him. Please don't leave. He slowly shook his head. I can't, even for you. No. Just stay, I'm begging you. If anyone else had asked me, I would outright refuse them. And I wish I didn't have to refuse you as well. You can stay, she started to tell him. But was interrupted by Naruto. Hinata, please look at me. People beat me just because they thought I was the nine-tailed fox. What about now that I actually am? I will never find peace. No, I don't want you to. A yellow tail covered her mouth. Naruto looked at her with the sadness of the world in his eyes. What he did then nearly made Hinata faint. He hugged her, wrapping his arms and tails around her. I will miss you, Hinata-chan. Wah, how, why, huh? I'm not as big of an idiot as some people think, Naruto said. I figured out long ago that you liked me. And that I liked you in return. Who couldn't? You are beautiful and super nice. A person would have to be blind and a true demon not to care for you. But why didn't you ever tell me? Hinata-chan, you are the princess of one of the most prominent clans in Konoha. And I know you wish to change it for the better. You would never be allowed to do that if you were with me. No, it is better this way. His tails held her all the closer as she started to cry. She finally found it in her to tell him how she felt and he tells her he feels the same. And they still can't be together. It isn't, she denied. Please, take me with you. Again, Naruto's heart felt like it was breaking. He had to refuse her again. I cannot. I will be labeled a missing nin the moment I walk out of Konoha. I will spend the rest of my life, for as long as they believe I am alive, being hunted. I will not push that on you. I want to. Before she could go farther, he silenced her with a kiss. Hinata couldn't believe it but she leaned into it all the more. Praying that this dream come true, Nightmare would never leave this part. Naruto gathered a small bit of chakra into his right index finger and pressed it to the back of her head. She fell asleep in his arms instantly. Goodbye, my Hinata-chan. Gaara, can you take her back to her home? He stepped into view. I do not know where it is. Naruto pointed to the compound. Then I will. Naruto, what will it take? There is nothing that will keep me here. I think I will go to the Valley of the End. He handed Hinata to Gaara and jumped off the cliff. The Valley of the End. Gaara said before heading to the Hokage's office. If he leaves, he will be marked a missing nin, a council member said, venomously. Tsunade had it. First Sakura, now them. She will make it known now, publicly. I will not mark the last member of the Namikaze clan a traitor of the leaf. You lie, one of them snarled. Do I? Keep in mind, I was the one that delivered Minato's son into this world. Don't you think I would recognize him if anyone at all? I can have Jiraiya in here in 30 seconds to tell you the same thing I just did. That Uzumaki Naruto, named after his mother, is the only son of the 4th Hokage. And if you so much as try to push this any farther, I will have the council disbanded and you all put to dishonor. Danzo looked at her with more respect than before. You're telling the truth, aren't you? He realized it was a statement, not a question. Because he already knew the answer. We drove away the only son of the man that saved our village. He hasn't left yet, Tsunade said. Right now, I am having one of my kunoichi that cares for him greatly try to convince him to stay. Even as she started, Gaara reappeared with a sleeping Hinata and Tsunade let out a groan. She is only asleep, Gaara informed them. Naruto heard her out and told her he in fact felt the same for a long time now. But didn't act on his feelings because they would hurt her more than help. And he has already left just 2 moments ago. Did he tell you where? Tsunade asked. The Valley of the End is where he is going before heading off. She ran to the window. Jiraiya, get your ass in here. He already was. I was waiting for you to call. Where is he? That blasted valley, she replied, cursing it to hell. Tsunade and Jiraiya, along with all of the ninja they brought, felt it long before they got there. A battle between 2 unbelievably strong opponents. One had to be Naruto. They stood on the edge, looking down, and saw Naruto fighting a real demon, not just some super strong animal. Hell's Fire, the demon called. Rasengan. The 2 opposing forces hit each other and it created a sphere around them that no one could see into. In part because the force of it knocked them down. There was an earth-shattering scream just before there came an explosion. When they all got up, the river below them was filling a crater wider than the valley was at its widest not 10 moments ago. A single tail was floating in the water before it started to burn up. No, Tsunade said. No. Naruto was scrunched into a ball, his tail already regrown. This isn't exactly going according to plan, he said at the pain he was feeling. He also felt something else, as he floated there in this void. He felt himself being lost, a much greater anger than he felt even earlier. It was taking control of him, he knew. That wasn't the only thing he felt. This great power that may be able to hold him until he realized himself again. Using his chakra, he flew to it. On a place called Earth by its inhabitants, 2 great beings were fighting. Ryoko and Yosho swung their swords at each other and blocked the other's attack. So far, he had taken her right hand jewel, but still left her with unbelievable power. What is wrong, Yosho? She asked in a voice of belying endearment. Having trouble keeping up with me? Not a chance, devil, he said to her. I will beat you if it takes everything I have. Even if I never go home, you will never harm another person again. As their battle raged, the weather turned for the worst. Finally, it dawned on them that this was no natural occurrence. What did you do? They both yelled at each other. Ryoko just shrugged while Yosho shook his head in confusion. Then a tear opened in the air above them. And from it, something fell to the ground. I don't suppose that was one of your spirits, was it? Yosho asked, looking at it. No, she said. 9 yellow tails uncurled from the bundle, revealing a child. His eyes was red with anger. This can't be good, Ryoko said. Destroy, the boy yelled. You were right, Yosho said before dodging a sphere of dark energy thrown his way. He is suffering from dimension bloodlust. What the hell does that mean? Ryoko demanded. It means that he is from another dimension, but when he crossed over, he wasn't prepared and his mind protected himself with his strongest emotion, anger. The boy was now throwing his destructive spheres everywhere, at everything. I hate to say it, but it looks like we have to fight together on this one, Ryoko said. Looks like, Yosho said. It would be bad if this world was destroyed while we were on it. Yeah, Ryoko said in a tone that said that was obvious. There is one thing I must ask, Ryoko. And what is that? She said, disappearing and reappearing to dodge another blast. Do not kill him. He is just a child reacting to what has been done to him. What? If you haven't noticed, he has no such compunctions. Ryoko, I can seal him and let his anger cool with time. Doing this will spare him and keep people safe. Alright, I'm game. What do you need of me? I need to get to my ship. He is too strong for just myself. Another sealing sword is needed. I was under the impression that the Jiraiyan royal family only had enough energy to use one sword, Ryoko said to him. I do. Meaning it will have to be calibrated to work with your energy, Yosho said as he used his sword, Tenchi, to knock one of the wild shots being thrown by the boy into the air. Oh boy, you should have said that in the first place. She grabbed him, disappeared and reappeared by the remains of his ship. Letting him go, she said, you get it made and ready. I will go keep the boy busy. His eyes were red and slitted as he stormed around the valley, Ryoko noticed. He could run on 2 legs or on all 4s and still be able to throw those things with just his tails and mouth. He was wild and just trying to release his anger, she saw. Because he didn't aim for anything, just fired. She found herself frowning. She knew what her mother would want her to do. Exactly what Yosho was trying. Ryo-Oki. The ship, though damaged, flew into the air with a MREOW and flew over her. She changed into her combat form, a woman about the same size as Ryoko. We need to help the kid, Ryoko said to her. She mewed back. Ryoko sighed, he is just a child. No, I'm not going soft. Just mom would want us to save him. A blast shot through the air, almost hitting Ryoko, but she just let it pass through her. Besides, look at him. Can you really hurt him any more than he already is? Ryo-Oki looked around her half-sister at the boy. He was crying as well. She frowned and nodded. Meow. Thank you for your vote of confidence, Ryoko muttered. We just need to keep him from attacking Yosho while he finishes a second sealing sword. The two ran forward, swinging their own energy weapons. He grabbed both swords, burning his hands, and tossed them aside. As they stood back up, they saw the burns receding. Ryo-Oki meowed again and Ryoko nodded. Yeah, mom would definitely experiment on him if she saw that. Yosho ran and found both Ryoko and Ryuki trying to fight the boy. Ryo-Onki was on the ground, out of energy, and reverted back to her Cabot form. Ryoko had her sword in hand while the boy held a knife that had energy extending from it. He held his own against her very easily. His movements said to Yosho that he was born and raised for combat. Ryoko. He threw the hilt and she easily caught. When she did, a red blade shot from it. About time, she said, grinning at her new weapon. She looked up at the boy and found him staring at it, fascinated. She moved it to the left and to the right and his red eyes followed it. Yosho, move behind him. What? He is paying attention to nothing but this. Get behind him so when we seal him, we will have a better chance. He nodded and moved to where he could strike to the best affect. Ryoko, when I give you the word, I need you to drive your sword into his chest. Oh, and I just got it. Don't worry little guy, this will be over quick and then you will be yourself again. Yosho put his sword away and gathered his energy in his hands. With a nod to Ryoko, he wrapped it around him so he couldn't move. He struggled against his bindings, almost making Yosho pass out from the intense strain. Now, Ryoko. She drove the blade through his chest, down into the ground, up to the hilt. His struggles began to decrease as his movements became harder to do. Slowly, he looked like he turned to stone. The last thing he did was cry a last, single tear. Both of them dropped to the ground. Damn, that takes a lot out of ya, Ryoko said. It does. And we still need to finish our fight. So we do, she said with a voice with false endearment. Yosho sealed the cave leading to Ryoko's chamber. The sword Tenchi, as long as it stayed where it was, would keep her there. He then turned to look at the foxboy. He was standing at the side of the entrance like a guardian. The sword Goka still in his chest. He will stay that way for as long as the sword was in place as well. At first, he only planned to keep him like this until he could feel the anger leave him. But then he felt something about the child that scared him. His very energy either supported it or created the feeling in him even though he wasn't angry. He would never be able to tell. I'm sorry, young one. I can't take the risk. In time I can release you but not until I am sure. Hinata woke up to find Gaara was waiting for two. Where is Naruto-kun? I have some bad news for you, Hyuga Hinata. He left, didn't he? It is worse than that. Uzumaki Naruto has died. No, I was there to see it. He got in a fight with a true demon and both of them are dead. No, I am sorry, Something Naruto said to her came to mind. As long as they believe me alive, they will hunt me. He faked his death but warned her about it. She couldn't help but smile. After you saw him die, what happened? The attacks the two held hit each other, they were enveloped in this sphere. When it was gone, the only sign of either of them was one of Naruto's tails. There was nothing moving? No, that sphere destroyed everything else. Gaara-kun, I don't believe Naruto-kun died. I think he faked it. Quote. Gaara blinked a few times. Then we should go tell the Hokage. No, Naruto-kun will be left alone like this. But I must ask you for your help in something. What is it? Help me find him or someone that can find him. I couldn't even tell he fake it. But I believe I know something that can. A creature with the greatest sense of smell on earth. The problem will be getting it to agree to this request. What is it? Isanade, the three-tailed shark. If anyone will be able to follow him, it will be him. Hinata swallowed at the thought of having to go to that extent to find Naruto-kun. But she wanted to be with him, not here, not anymore. Nodding, she said, show me the way. Isanade couldn't believe his luck. He may not have been the smartest thing on earth, but he knew that humans were supposed to run in fear of him. Yet these two only ran to avoid his attacks. They made no other attempts. Alright, I tire of this game. What is it you want? Your assistance, Gaara said. You see, Lord Isanade, the Kyuubi no Yoko has passed away. And his chosen heir has vanished. Which means what to me? We would like your help in finding him, Gaara said. He used a two powerful jutsus to fake his death and left nothing behind that we could follow him with. But as you are Isanade, the greatest hunter and tracker in the ocean as well as on land, you could. And why would I do that? I care nothing for the last fox nor this new one. Because I will offer you safe haven, Gaara said. I will soon be inaugurated as the case cage of the hidden sand village. The wind country does border the ocean at one of its sides. As long as you are willing to leave my country's people alone, you will not be hunted while there. I will see to it. Isanade scratched his chin with one of his claws. The proposal was a good one. And if he turned on him, he could just destroy all of the ocean-lying villages and ports. Fine, do you have something with his scent on it? And take me to the last place he was seen at. Hinata held out his headband and walked forward. She was unbelievably scared as he moved his nose to her. She could see his fangs easily dwarfed the biggest human she had ever seen. I have it, Isanade said. You must really care for this boy, to keep going forward with how scared you are, girl. Why not? It does seem time for it. Time for what, Lord Isanade? Nothing. We move. Isanade smelled around the Valley of the End and a picture of what all happened here entered his mind. Naruto walked to the edge of the river, sat, and waited. After a while, his nose caught a scent and he stood back up and created a cage bunchen. It hinged itself into a demon from some nightmare. They waited a few moments more before they started fighting. Up on the ledge, several ninja looked down at the two. Naruto and his clone created two very powerful attacks and hit the other with it. A sphere enveloped them and Naruto cut off one of his tails, dropping it into the water. It regrew in moments. How strange. What? Gaara asked. This, Naruto, didn't leave this spot. His scent just vanished. You don't mean that he really died, do you? Hinata was on the verge of tears. No, it is as you suspect. He planned the whole thing. He even waited until you were just far enough away to start the fight with his clone. But I imagine something didn't go as planned when the two hit each other. What happened? Gaara asked. The inside collapsed around him. The clone was completely destroyed as it didn't have the chakra to handle it. But this child was pulled in alive. Pulled into what? A good question. One that I do not know the answer to. I am strong, but I am quite dumb, sad though it is. He turned and headed to the ocean. But I do know what happened. The jutsus opened a tear. A tear? Gaara asked, not understanding. When a sufficient amount of opposing chakra hit each other, they create a tear in dimensions. Your friend is no longer on this planet. Then how do we find him? Hinata asked. Follow him, Isanade replied nonchalantly. But the only being with the chakra to do that is another Biju. That is not my concern, Isanade replied. Time to see if this child has a backbone. Hinata hesitated before she ran up one of his tails. Using her Byakugan, she hit every single chakra point she could. You listen to me. The deal was to find him. If you will not help, then you are breaking your side of the bargain. And I will see to it that the Hyuga clan never stops hunting you. A tail wrapped around her and moved her to his face. Then I should eat you and save myself the trouble, shouldn't I? Sand moved to block him, but water from the river knocked it aside. Is he really worth that? Naruto-kun is worth more. I see. Then I have decided. I will not go to this other world. But you will. Hinata tried to say something. Do not interrupt me or I will eat you for real. You will go. As my heir. Huh? I will give you my chakra so you can go through the tear. It is still there, so you need only open it and follow. You should get to the same place he is. Make sure to prepare yourself though. Or you will come out in a blood rage. Hinata could only stare as his eyes glowed and felt something enter inside her. It made her pass out. Isanade yawned. Boy, take me to the coast. In need a deep, dark cove to sleep in for a few centuries. And what of Hyuga Hinata? What of her? Oh, she is defenseless right now. He turned to the river and placed her under. There, she will be fine. Gaara was about to jump in and save her. Boy, think about it. I am the Biju of water. She will be the same thing once I go to sleep. And even now, she still has most of my chakra. She will survive some years submerged in water. Lead the way. Hinata woke up underwater. She was so surprised that she took a breath and brought her hands to her throat. And, again to her surprise, she wasn't choking. She moved and found it as easy as if she was in the air. "Wow," she said, which came out more clear than she ever said in the water. Her hands had webbing in between her fingers now. But she somehow knew she could remove them with a thought. She felt something behind her brush against the rock and looked. She had 3 scaled tails with fins on them. She kicked with her feet and in tails and practically flew through the water. She broke the surface and reached a height of 20 feet at least before she came back to the water. "This is amazing. Is this what Naruto-kun felt?" She began to sneeze a little as the smell of smoke came to her nose. Jumping up onto the cliff above her, she looked around and saw the smoke came from Konoha. Truly amazing. She could even smell Naruto-kun's favorite ramen stand. Naruto-kun. Looking back, she saw the tear Lord Isanade was talking about. She was about to jump into it before she remembered his warning. Calming down, she began the mental exercises she was taught as a Hyuga to train her emotions. When at last, she felt she was in a cold calm, she opened the tear and jumped inside it. In that void, she began to wonder if she should have though of a different way because she felt that emotionless surround her and take an actual form of a crystal. She was still herself but she couldn't move as she was swept away to the same place as Naruto-kun. She fell from the sky just off the coast of a series of large islands. She settled on the bottom and frowned at her predicament. "Now what do I do? May I be of any help, my lady?" The voice came from a shark with the head of a hammer. He was circling her. "Can you get me out of this?" "I can try," the shark said. He slammed into it and bit it as well. But nothing he did worked. "I am afraid I am not strong enough. But I will return with others that may be." He started to swim away but Hinata stopped him. She yawned before asking, "Why did you call me, my lady?" "Even the sharks of this world recognize the queen of all sharks," the hammerhead said. "Are you okay, my lady?" "I am feeling really tired right now. It must be the lack of water inside. I will return soon." The shark swam away as fast as he could. Hinata could barely focus on him before laying her head down and closing her eyes. Naruto-kun. Come on. This gate is so rusty, it'll be a miracle that the key's still. Hey, they worked. Tenchi grinned as he pushed it open and started down the tunnel. Curiosity killed the cat, maybe, but Grandpa always said I was more like a fox, didn't he? Coming to an opening, he found 3 things that surprised him. A stone held in the air by a rock, a small shrine against a rock wall, and a statue of a warrior with fox ears and 9 foxtails. "So this is Kitsune," Tenchi said, referring to the stories his grandfather told him. "How as the demon and the warrior Yosho fought their battle, Kitsune fell from the sky. He was in a great rage brought from being forced from his home and no longer in his own control. Seeing that even they could not calm him alone, the demon and warrior fought him together, knocking him unconscious. When Yosho finally defeated the demon, he turned to Kitsune. He had woken up and thanked him for preventing him from hurting anyone around them. I thank you for stopping me, samurai. But I have no place to go. I do not belong here. I might have a charge for you then. One day, the demon may yet awaken and someone must be there to stop her. Then I will guard her tomb until I die, if that is what you wish of me." Yosho knew the man's memories would haunt him to that day, so he did the one thing he could think of. He drew his second sword, the Guda, meaning hell's fire. "I offer you something else, warrior. With my sword, you will fall into a similar slumber that the demon is in. You will sleep until this sword, or the sword Tenchi, is removed. I will guard your shrine until I die, and my family after me." The warrior took the gift and thanked him. Setting himself next to the entrance to the tomb, he took the sword and drove it into his own chest, turning to stone. There it is, the Guda. Tenchi ran over to Kitsune and looked at the sword and him. Hey, he is just a child. The half-fox looked no more than 13, as far as human go that is. He turned to the sword next. It was in his chest, where it went all the way to the small of his back, where the tip of it could be seen. I wonder if the old legend is true? The last part of the legend of Kitsune was that even in his sleep, he still cried. He looked at the child's face and stepped back in shock. Moss had grown on his face, following a trail from his chin to his eyes, the same one tears would take. He touched it and found it was wet. Oh, he really is crying. I can't believe it. That means the sword Tenchi must be here too, and he shivered. The demoness as well. He searched the chamber for the demoness but found her nowhere. What if the legend was wrong and Kitsune is the demon? Nah, Grandpa is so sure. Like he was there. No, the demon is somewhere else. It was then that he remembered the shrine. He went over to it and opened the door. The sword Tenchi was held within. He couldn't help but grab it and pull it out. So this is it. He pulled it from the sheath after a few hard tugs. The blade that came out was badly rusted from the lack of care. Man, I was expecting something. Ah, the blade literally fell apart. At the same time, the stone being held by the roots fell to the floor. Oh man, Grandpa is going to kill me. To compound his troubles, another stone broke. But as it did, the hidden entrance to the tomb was revealed. Tenchi looked at it with great interest and decided to go inside. I'm dead anyway, right? He stepped inside and started sliding down. He hit the flat surface kind of hard and rubbed his backside. What else can? I had to say something. Right in the center of the room was a pond. And its surface was rippling. Remembering that curiosity comment again, he looked over the lip. Just in time for a hand to reach out and grab him. Ah! He jumped back, pulling the demon hard enough so that she hit her head against the wall of the pond, making her let go. The last thing he saw of her before running back up was glowing red eyes. Crap, crap, crap. He reached the main chamber again and leaned against the wall. A roar came from down there as he did. What am I going to do? Kitsune. He went over to the statue. Come on, wake up. The demon is awake now. He shook the statue but nothing happened. With nothing else he can do, he grasped the hilt of the Gouda and pulled. It glowed red as it touched the gilt of the Tenchi. Come on, if the demon gets free, then everyone around here is in grave danger. Please help me. But no matter what, the sword would not come free. Letting go, Tenchi adopted a look that said how bad this was when the next roar came even closer. I'm a dead man. The stone. Ah, fix the stone that broke. Tenchi didn't know where the words came from nor did he care. He put the pieces back together and tied root around them to hold them in place. He looked up just in time to see the demon on the other side before the door closed again. I am going to the temple and pray to whatever God is listening to forgive me. Maybe Grandpa was right about needing more training. He walked out of the room, leaving behind what sounded like a very irate woman, and a child laughing at her misfortune. Tenchi woke up on the roof of his school. It was a few weeks later. Summer vacation was over and he was back in school. Oh man, I missed school. Dad is no doubt going to kill me. He heard a cat meow and looked over at it. How on earth did you get up here? It started walking over to him and it disappeared. I doubt this is a sign of good things to come. You're right, a falsely endearing voice said behind him. Tenchi spun around and saw a woman with white hair on her head sitting over the doorway to the stairs. The name's Ryoko. Tenchi saw her eyes glow and felt his shoulders slump. Oh man, it's the freeze-dried demon, he said in a defeated voice. And I don't even have my bokken to fight her with. Ah, you will need more than a wooden sword to beat me, little boy, she said with a grin that spoke of great confidence. Her face grew grim after that. It was cold in that cave. Cold and lonely, and I want revenge. Why me? I didn't do it. She shrugged. I am a demon, she replied. And you are obviously related to Yosho. His face took on a doomed look. If I survive this, I'll make sure Grandpa adds to the signs of bad luck disappearing cats. Tenchi ducked into a classroom. Ryoko had already destroyed part of the school and was still chasing him. He smelled something in the air and groaned. Gas. What else could go wrong? Even as he said that, he slapped his hands over his mouth. Because every time he said it, it always did. Ah, there you are, came from behind him. Ryoko stood blocking the door. Where were we? You were just about to say, I'm sorry for destroying part of your school and for chasing you. As an apology, you were going to give me a 30-second head start before chasing me again, Tenchi said, figuring that if he had to go, might as well make one last joke. I was? She took on a thoughtful expression. My mind is so cloudy from 700 years of sleeping, I'm not sure. Was I really? She looked at where he was standing and found it empty. Get back here. Hearing him on the other side of the wall, she created one of her swords and threw it. Boom! Tenchi was thrown to the ground. He stood up and wiped off some of the dust. Maybe I should have warned her. He clapped his hands together and prayed for her soul. Time to go, I guess. He didn't even take a step before he heard grumbling behind him. No way. He bolted and ducked around a corner. Ryoko came down the hall and saw a mirror. Oh man, I look a mess. I guess even demon women are the same, Tenchi thought as he moved farther away. He went into his classroom, grabbed his bag, and opened a window. It couldn't be more obvious that he could only run from her. So as carefully as he could, he jumped out into the bushes. Rolling out of it, he looked up and didn't see her following. So he started running. Phew, good thing women are all the same. That mirror saved my life. Yeah, with her busy with that, we can get away, a voice said in agreement. Yup, bad day. He dropped to avoid the sword slash. Rolling, he came to his feet to see Ryoko right there. Can't I just say I'm sorry for what happened and you let me go? I don't know, give it a try, she said. I'm sorry. Accepted. Now where were we? Oh yes, I was about to hurt you some more. Hey, I said I'm sorry. And I accepted, what more do you want from me? Ryoko said with a shrug. You monster. Hey, what makes me a monster? Pipsqueak. You walk through fire, you destroy things with pure energy, and you fly. All very good reasons but still not good enough. In your own admission that you are a demon, Tenchi reminded. Ryoko gave a blank look. I did say that, didn't I? Oh well. She swung her sword at him and he threw up his bag to block it. The bag was destroyed, but her attack was stopped by this blue glow. Huh, was Tenchi's statement. Hey, no fair, was Ryoko's. Now that is the pot calling the kettle black, came a new voice. They both looked up and saw Kitsune standing on a tree. His bright orange clothing was torn to shreds so they could freely see the two scars on his chest. The larger one was old, roughly the shape and size of a palm. The other was newer and was in the center of the first, the shape of a sword blade. You asked for help, kid. Do you still need it? Doesn't it look like I do? It does. But be a bit more respectful to the King of Foxes. If you know what is good for you. By the name is Naruto. In his hand was the hilt of the Gouda. As for you, he looked to Ryoko. I must say thank you for stopping me, those centuries ago. I rather would not do this. But as you are obviously the aggressor. A blade flew out of the hilt as he jumped down and slashed with it. Ryoko jumped back to put distance between them. Don't just stand there, grab it. Huh, Tenchi asked him. The sword hilt floating in front of you. I am in the same boat as her and not able to move so well. I know because 700 years ago, her movements were much more fluid. So, I'm going to need some help here. Got it. Grabbing it, he saw a sword extend from it. Unlike the light sword Naruto used with its red blade, this one had a blue one. And it began striking out at Ryoko. It's alive. The sword is only doing what it is meant to, Naruto said, complimenting his attacks. Trust it, because I am. I have no idea how to use a sword. I really am going to die. To everyone's surprise, he cut off Ryoko's hand. At the same time, she got 3 of Naruto's tails as they came up to block her attack on reflex. Ah, I'm sorry. Naruto-san, are you okay? I'm fine, Naruto said as bones already started to grow from the stumps. Ditto, Ryoko said. Her hand grew back as well. See? No harm no foul. I guess that is another battle lost. See y'all later, Tenchi, Naruto. She disappeared. Wow, not even a single hand sign, Naruto said. I have got to get her to teach me that. He turned to Tenchi. So, where are we going? Huh, I am going home. You head after her. Naruto frowned. Dobi, I can't follow her. Her scent stops right there. I have no idea where she has gone. I don't care. Tenchi yelled back at the kid. You were the one that swore to stop her. Naruto blinked in surprise. When did I swear that? Before you were sealed away, Tenchi said in a much calmer voice. I hate to tell you this, but before I was sealed, I was still in a bloodlust. She and that samurai turned me to stone before I calmed down. Before they could go any farther, the rest of the school blew up. How about we continue this at your house, Naruto offered. That suddenly sounds like Naruto had grabbed him with a tail, lifted him off the ground, and started jumping away. He was easily covering 50 feet even holding him. Tenchi was amazed. Man, I need to get training again. I used to jump a lot farther than this, Naruto whined. Tenchi walked up to his room and opened the window. Naruto slipped inside. So, now what? They both asked. I was hoping you had the answer, they said again at the same time. Naruto snapped his claws. Sleep, he said, nodding at his idea. All that took it out of me. Note to self, never go into combat after waking up from a long nap. I couldn't agree with you more, Tenchi said, lying on his blanket. His bed really felt lumpy. So he reached over, under them and grabbed the offending thing. But what he grabbed turned out to be much softer than he could have imagined. A giggle came from underneath the blankets and Naruto pulled them down. Oh, for Kami's sake, let go of her, you hentai. I didn't know, brat. Tenchi said as he let go of Ryoko. How could you not know you were grabbing that, Naruto said. He has a point there, Ryoko said to Tenchi. And what are you doing here? Tenchi yelled at her. Simple, I came to get your balls. Am I going to be surrounded by perverts everywhere I go? Naruto asked the air. First Ero Sennin, then the hentai, now this crazy woman. It's not like that, Ryoko shouted at him. I mean the jewels at the base of his sword hilt. That still sounded perverted to me, Naruto said, narrowing his eyes. Oh, for the love of, Ryoko said, ready to pull her hair out. I mean the reed things in that. She pointed to the sword Tenchi, which the person Tenchi had tucked into hhis belt. I need them back so I can get my power back. And why would I do that? Tenchi asked. So I can control Ryo-Oki, of course. Ryo-Oki. Oh, your sister, Naruto said after a minute. I remember her, she was one tough cookie. No way am I going to let another demon out, Tenchi said to her. Are you sure, Tenchi? After all, if I get Ryo-Oki back, I can leave and you will never see me again, she said sweetly, flashing her eyes at him as she moved closer. AHA. She grabbed the sword, only to get shocked. Ow, damn it, come on, just give them back. We really will go away if you do. And a much worse demon that is coming here will have no reason to stay. Tenchi, was it? I wouldn't be so sure about this. I have had bad luck concerning someone just going away. I doubt this will be different. Children should be seen, not heard, Ryoko growled at him. Women should be sweet and mild-mannered, Naruto countered. Really, you have enough testosterone for 10 guys. Oh, I am so going to kill you for that one, Ryoko said. Ryoko. I know you are there. Come out here, pirate. And the demon has arrived, Ryoko said, walking to the window. Oops, better button that up, she said with a grin, meaning her blouse. Hey, Ayeka, what cha doing up there? You, where is Yosho, came that giant voice. Both Tenchi and Naruto walked over to the window. Naruto slipped out and just stood on the wall, while Ryoko just phased through it so Tenchi could have the window to himself. What is that? That would be that worst demon I told you about, Ryoko told them. Both Naruto and Tenchi paled as they went back inside. Give her the damn things, Naruto said. How? Just pray to the sword to give them to me, Ryoko said. Alright, Tenchi said. He closed his eyes and held the sword up near his head. Ryoko felt far more powerful a second later. Yeah, now I. Hey, you only gave one. That's right, Tenchi said. Ah ha ha, she replied. Ahem, Ryo-Oki. A giant Muryao was heard in the night sky as the ship rocketed to them. All three of them disappeared and reappeared inside the ship. Go. They were in space now with Ayeka in hot pursuit. Now, aren't these little girls cute? Naruto said as Kabits surrounded him and he tried to give each of them attention. Hey, stop. I can't pilot Ryo-Oki with the crystals in place. Then how are we flying right now? Tenchi asked. All of them deadpanned. I had to say something, didn't I? Ow, Naruto said, trying to force his way past the bars again. Ow, ow, ow. Will you stop that and help me think of something? Tenchi yelled. I can get us out of here easily, Naruto replied. Then why don't you? I like plants, he answered. And it would be a waste to hurt these when there has to be a way out without doing so. There was a soft giggle from outside their cage. You're right, a little girl with silver hair said. Who are you two? Tenchi. Uzumaki Naruto, he answered with great vigor. I'm Sasami. Will you two play with me? I will, if you get us out, Naruto said. How can you be so calm? Tenchi asked as the roots moved so they could pass. Easy. She couldn't be much older than me and the way she is treating me is much better than my old home. Is that why you were crying while stoned? No, it is not. So, Sasami-chan, what do you want to play? Well, I don't know, I don't often have people to play with. How about we get off this ship and we think of something then, Tenchi said. Alright, but first, can you two do something for me? What? They both asked. My sister has a coronet I would like to have. Get it for me and I will get you out. Done deal. I may not look like much, but I was the best ninja in my village, Naruto said. As they turned to where she said, Sasami noticed something. Hey, where did you get that? She reached out and grabbed the hilt of the Gouda. This? It was used to seal me when I got really mad a long time ago. Now give it back. Ah, but can't I keep it? No, give it back, Naruto insisted. When she didn't, Naruto smiled as a plan formed in his head. Tailed tickle no jutsu. His tails picked her up and started tickling every part of her. No, no, ha ha ha, please, I surrender. She dropped the hilt and Naruto caught it in the air. He set her on the ground. By the way, she said when she could breathe normally again, if you had tapped the bars with that, they would have moved. That figures, Tenchi said, hanging his head. Relax, Naruto said, no use worrying about it now. So, where are you from, Sasami-chan? I'm from the planet Jiraiya. Naruto looked at her blankly and started to laugh a little. Hey, what is so funny, she asked with a pout. I once knew the biggest pervert you will ever meet and his name was Jiraiya, Naruto replied, still laughing, thinking about a planet full of him. Just hoping your people aren't like him is all. Naruto and Tenchi snuck into the room. Well, Naruto snuck in. Tenchi tried and was insanely loud to Naruto. Hasn't anyone ever taught you to be quiet? Naruto hissed at him. His tails all had their fur on end with agitation. I'm not a ninja, Tenchi said to him. Where is it? He asked. She is still wearing it, Naruto told him. Tenchi sighed and moved to the side of her bed opposite of Naruto. Naruto pressed a finger to his lips and took out the Gouda. He pointed to it and then to Tenchi, finally to Ayeka. It took a minute but Tenchi understood what he meant. She has sword Tenchi. Tenchi pointed to himself then at Ayeka's head, followed by pointing to Naruto and at Gouda. I'll get the coronet while you get the sword. Naruto nodded and reached down. He slowly massaged her wrist with one hand while the other held onto the sword. Finally, she completely let go of it. Smiling in victory, he looked up, just in time to see Tenchi slip it off. He also smiled in a job well done. They started to walk out of the room. Lady Ayeka, the prisoners, Izaka and Kamade came into the room, loud as possible and came face to face with both Naruto and Tenchi. Huh, what is? Ayeka said, sitting up in her sleep. Silence was complete for a few moments before she yelled, perverts. Izaka, Kamade, kill them. The two thieves ran out of the house with the two logs flying after them. Naruto didn't even stop as he picked up Sasami. Time to go, he said to her. He tossed the sword to Tenchi who tossed him the coronet. Mission accomplished, princess. How did you know? She asked. I've met my fair share of them, he told her. You're just as sweet and kind as another princess I knew. Ouch. One of the laser blast got him in the shoulder. Oh, let me. Sasami started to say. Don't worry, it will take more than 2 overgrown garden ornaments to put me down. I'm more worried about Tenchi. Said boy was trying his hardest to keep up while dodging the lasers. Naruto picked him up with his tails and fully sprinted down the hall, leaving the guardians behind. Here, Sasami said, laying some cloths on the bench Naruto was sitting on. These are just like the cloths that the original Kamade wore. They will look much better on you than those will. She smiled at him, while tilting her head a little. She was wearing the coronet. Naruto smiled at how she was smiling. Okay, I guess I do need to change cloths. Now turn around, he said, covering her eyes with a tail. Hee, your tail is soft, Naruto-san. Thank you, he said as he pulled the new shirt down. Pulling his pants off, he got in the new ones. These fit rather well. Thank you, Sasami-chan. Now if only they were orange. Let's go, Tenchi said. We still need to find Ryoko and get home. There, Sasami pointed, that one. Naruto nodded to Tenchi before running over. Ryoko, are you inside here? Run. It's a trap. Too late. Electricity passed between the two guardians. And Naruto was between them. Rog, you will regret stealing from me, Ayeka said. Sister, stop. Sasami, you had something to do with this? Yes, I'm sorry but I was bored. Please let him go. Before either could do anything else, Naruto formed a Rasengan in each hand and hit them against the guardians. They weren't very powerful but they did the job. They flew off, releasing Naruto. He stood back up, his eyes glowing red. That hurt, he told them before tapping Gouda against the bars. It opened and Ryoko stepped out. You will be tried for releasing a wanted prisoner of Jiraiya. But princess, I have already told you that the statute of limitations has passed on Ryoko, Izaka told her again. Oh, so you imprisoned me for your own reasons, Ryoko said. And add torture of a person wrongly held, that can be a long sentence. What? Ayeka demanded. To be precise, such a crime would have the penalty of 46 galactic years in prison, Kamade told them. Whose side are you on? Ayeka yelled. I was just trying to tell you, princess, he said to her. Well, I guess I will just go then, Ryoko said. I won't call the galactic police on you as I am feeling generous. That is most kind of you, Lady Ryoko, Azaka said. Be quiet, I will never accept anything from that. But sister, I don't want you to go to jail, Sasami said, her eyes welling up with tears. Ayeka's jaw dropped. She was the princess that could do no wrong here, but somehow, she was being made out as the bad guy. But, Naruto walked back over to her, his eyes returned to normal. Don't worry, your sister could walk up to the police and confess, but they won't do anything unless Ryoko reports it and wants something done about it. Well, this has been fun, Ayeka, but we really should be going. Oh, Ryo-Oki. MREOW. The spaceship tore through the deck of the ship and they were teleported inside. Ryo-Oki, head back to Earth, pronto, Ryoko yelled. Behind them, Ayeka shouted for them to follow. Do not let them get away. I want to know why the human had my brother's sword. Why is she still following us? Ryoko complained. How about that you have her sister aboard your ship? Tenchi yelled, pointing at the little girl over by Naruto. It was then that the two adults did a double take at the two kids. The Ryo-Oki Kabats were around them again. Both of them groaned, as the ship once again lost control. It spun around, speared the Jirean ship, and plummeted to Earth. Well, that was one interesting adventure, Naruto said as he was sitting at the table drinking some tea. This is excellent, Sasami. I'm surprised my father took it so well, Tenchi said, drinking his own cup. While Ryoko was drinking sake. This is the good stuff, right here. Hey Sasami, where is your sister? She is out at the lake, trying to save our ship. Sasami, get out here and help, or else we'll never get off this planet. They all sighed inside, and took another content-filled drink of their tea or sake. Think we should try to help her? Naruto asked Tenchi. Can you lift a broken ship out of the water? Nope, then I guess we can't help. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Yatu Takashi with Channel 7 News. 700 years ago, a meteoroid fell to the planet in this very spot. After that point, sharks have gathered here in mass numbers. This strange phenomenon has no explanation as every time scientist has tried to go down to study the strange crystal, the sharks have always gotten in the way preventing them. But two things is known about this strange event. The sharks are only interested in people that try to move near the crystal. And the crystal is moving. Ever since it fell in the ocean, it has been moving down slope. While no one can speculate why, they do know this. It is now teetering on the edge of an abyss. In a few moments, it will fall. We will now turn to our live cameramen down at the advent. As you can see Takashi, we can get no closer than 100 feet of the rock. But the sharks seem more interested in watching it fall over the edge than us. It is truly an amazing sight in front of us. Sharks that are normally known to live thousands of miles away have gathered here to see this. That is the only term I can think of to describe this. As you can clearly see, there are sand sharks to whale sharks present here today. And they are all circling the rock. What is odd is that every now and then there is a hammerhead doing it right now. They come up to the rock and push against it, making it move just a bit faster. And, I might be me, but they seem more restless the closer to the edge they get. Just as odd even, it is not just humans that they are keeping away from the rock. Over the years, they have refused to let fish, dolphins, and even whales near it. We saw just earlier today when a particularly angry dolphin tried to investigate the crystal and was blocked by a mako shark. In a standard counter, the dolphin hit the shark in the gills, drawing blood. The usual reaction to this around the world would be for the other sharks to turn on the wounded one and kill it. And they did all attack something. The dolphin was forced off as they all tried to kill it. Try to find. There, that is the wounded mako right there. The gills are still a little swollen from the attack, but the shark is very much alive and well. This is an unheard of advent never seen before. We were able to record it and will be able to show it later on after the crystal has fallen. Sir, the meteoroid, the cameraman yelled as he turned back to it. A whale shark had just turned to it and was charging at it with full speed. He hit it dead on and knocked it the last few feet over the edge. All the sharks watched as it drifted from sight into the blackness. Several hammerheads followed in as it descended, but most circled the spot, making sure to look down into the deep. Then there came this loud cracking sound followed by bubbles raising to the surface. The camera then started to show static. Sir, we lost video feed. What about audio? It still works. Ladies and gentlemen, the hammerheads are swimming out of the abyss and... Great Cammy. The sound of something fast swimming, though the water passed by the camera, and with it came the sound of light laughter. I believe we are hallucinating because of the bends, sir, the cameraman offered. I'll accept that. The video feed is back up. The camera was turned in the direction of shore. After the crystal fell, the sharks down in the trench swam out and passed right by us. Each and every shark present is now following them. I believe today is not a good day to go down to the beach. Naruto-san, time for Lu. He was already there. NCH. How is it that you are so fast? Just practice, Sasami-chan. You should see me go for ramen. Sasami laughed. I would like to see that, Naruto-san. So maybe tomorrow I'll make some. She couldn't have said better words. He jumped up in the air in excitement and hugged her when he landed, saying, thank you, in rapid procession. But before we eat, can you go get Tenchi and grandfather? It'll be done in one moment, Naruto said. He made a cross-shaped hand sign and created a cage bunshin. He ran off while the original stayed there. And there you go, he said with a smile. Can I eat now? He pleaded with all 9 tails wagging. Please, please, please. Alright, what was that? The dread puppy dog eyes no jutsu. The clone Naruto ran along, dreaming about Sasami's lunch, as he tried to find Tenchi and his grandfather. What he found was Ayeka outside her room. Quite a surprise when you consider that she refused to come out for a week now. Good morning, Lady Ayeka, he saw with a clumsy bow. Oh, good morning, Naruto-san. I don't suppose you saw that this morning, did you? I don't know what you are talking about, he said with a goofy grin on his face and a hand behind his head. Something important happened? Or something embarrassing? Ayeka blushed a little red before sighing. The second, she replied, defeated. Well, that I know about, Naruto told her. In my experience, when you fall, all you can do is get back up. It also would help if this little animal would leave me alone. Ayeka motioned to the little cabot behind her. A Ryo-oki, Naruto said excitedly. The Ryo-oki, Ayeka corrected. She was reborn today, and doesn't seem to understand that I don't like her. Said Cabot jumped up on her shoulder and nuzzled her neck. Maybe she is trying to get you to feel better, Naruto offered. Ryo-oki gave a confirming meow. So, you can either stop feeling sorry for yourself or we both can try to make you feel better, he said, crossing his arms. Ayeka laughed. He looked cute when he tried to look tough. And making his tails bristle just added to it. Oh, is that a challenge? Do your worst. As you wish, Lady Ayeka, Naruto said with a grin. Super tail bind no jutsu. A single tail wrapped around her, holding her in the air and spreading her arms and legs a little. What are you doing? Release me at once. Naruto just smiled. You said, do your worst. So here it is. Another tail slipped off her shoes and pulled her arm sleeves up. Tailed tickle no jutsu. After 5 full minutes of laughing, Naruto looked at Ryo-oki. So, where else do you think she is ticklish? The belly button? So that is where Ryoko is ticklish, I'll make sure to keep that in mind. The belly button it is then. You wouldn't dare? I would. Ayeka was looking at him in terror with a grin on her face from laughing. Please, not the belly button. Will you stop? I will. Just not the belly button. Naruto smiled in victory. Alright, I won't. He let her down. But next time, you will not be so lucky. When finally she caught her breath and straightened out her clothes, she stood up. Hard to believe someone like you is a trained fighter. How did you know? We have them on Jiraiya and the walk in a very similar manner that you do. It says that you may be relaxed but no one can sneak up on you. May I ask why you are up here? I kind of forgot. Just then, his stomach growled, reminding him. Oh yeah, lunch is ready. I came to get Tenchi and his grandfather. I believe they are just up that way, she said, turning and walking to them. But Naruto didn't follow. Do you smell something? It's almost like the ocean. I'm afraid not, Naruto-san, Ayeka said to him. I can tell them if you want to go eat. Thanks, Lady Ayeka. That would be nice. He released himself in a puff of smoke. Isn't this interesting, Katsuhito said as he looked to the east. He flicked his wrist as Tenchi tried to finish the fight while his back was turned, and all he got was being hit on the head and being thrown off the attack. Your stance is wrong, Tenchi. You would do well to maybe try sparring with Naruto or Ryoko for a bit. As they say, nothing like a challenge to bring out the best in men. Ah, I can take you, Grandpa, Tenchi replied. Oh, then start over. If you can then hit me. Ayaka watched them surprised to see their form was that of a Jiren. Oh, whoa, she fell backwards and sprained her ankle. This just isn't my day, she said to herself. Naruto can't get that smell out of his mind. He could still smell it, even over Sasami-chan's cooking. Finishing the wonderful meal, he stood up. Sasami-chan, I am going out to train. If you need me, just cry out and I will be there as fast as I can. Okay, Naruto-san, I wonder what I should make for dinner. Hi, I do want to see how he acts for ramen. A half hour later, she heard the door open again. Sister, is that you? I was afraid you were going to miss lunch. Naruto-san can eat so much that I wasn't sure there would be any left for you, Tenchi or grandfather. Sister? I am not who you think I am, came a voice that seemed waterlogged. A woman with dark hair walked into the room, soaked to the bone. Her eyes were pupil-less while her teeth, the ones around her canines, were unusually sharp. On her neck were 3 lines on each side. Where is Naruto-kun? Though some effect was lost because of the stuttering, Sasami was terrified by the tone in her voice. I can smell him all over this house. Where is he? With her suddenly getting angry, 3 tails moved out from behind her. That was enough for Sasami. Ah, help. Not 10 seconds afterwards, Naruto slammed through the door to see Sasami backed against a corner, trying to make herself as small as possible. She was staring wide-eyed at something. Naruto turned to whatever it was, growling. And to his surprise, it growled back. What were you about to do to Sasami-chan? I was asking her a question, the demoness said in a bit of a snarl. Just tell me where my friend is and I will leave. You will find no friends here, Naruto said. He drew the Gouda and did a spin kick. His speed must have surprised her because he connected with her jaw without her putting up a block. She hit the wall and slumped to the floor. Glaring at him, she spit out a few sharp teeth. And they were already being replaced. That felt as malleable as a nose, Naruto stated. Because my entire bore structure is made up of cartridge, she replied. Kind of happens that way when you are a shark demoness. Sasami-chan, go outside. Find Katsuhito, Tenchi, and your sister. I don't think I will be able to handle this on my own. Okay, she said, running out the door. Outside, Naruto said to the girl. She nodded. Now that there is no reason not to, time to unleash. Don't think you will stand long against the queen of all sharks, she said to him. Just tell me where your king is. Naruto laughed. And what is your business with him, pray tell? That is for only the 2 of us, she said. I am afraid I cannot tell you until you tell me. She glared at him a moment more before saying, fine. I am in love with him. Naruto went slack face. No, it couldn't be. I left 700 years ago. But her stuttering and she said she was in love with me. Swallowing, he straightened a little. I see. May I ask your name, lady? Hyuga Hinata, heir of Isanade, she replied. Hinata, what happened to you? Huh? I know you, don't I? But I can't unless. Naruto-kun. She was about to run at him but Azaka and Kamidake landed on either side of her and electricity passed between them. Aagh, she screamed in pain. Let her go, Naruto growled, grabbing Azaka and throwing him into Kamidake. He reached down and picked her up. Hinata-chan, are you okay? Water squirted into his face. Of course I am, Naruto-kun. I am the queen of the sharks. I was right, this is interesting, Katsuhito said as he took in the sight in front of him. He smiled down at Sasami. Looks like you have competition over his affections. She only blushed. What is going on here, Naruto? Ayaka demanded. Naruto stood up, helping Hinata up as he did. I guess that is going to take some time as it is a long story. Hinata-chan, how are you still alive? How are you like this, for that matter? She just grinned. I wanted to see Naruto-kun again, she stammered out. She then turned to Sasami. I apologize for my rude behavior. I just wanted to see Naruto-kun again. Sasami looked at her confused. This is the same girl that seemed to have just been threatening me. She never actually threatened me, did she? A huge, shameful blush covered her face. Sasami, is something wrong dear? Ayaka asked. Just that all she did was ask where Naruto was. I was scared and screamed for help. Naruto said he would be there in a moment if I did. And he was. But I did it for the wrong reasons. Naruto looked at the door he broken back at her. I guess I owe you an apology, Tenchi. I kind of destroyed the door. They all looked at the splinters that was once the kitchen door. Katsuhito spoke first. Well, Tenchi, looks like the rest of your training today is to fix the door. What? But Naruto was the one that broke it. I did, sir. I should be the one to fix it. Be that as it may, you were just doing your duty, protecting Sasami when she called for help. You knew not that it was only a friend on the other side. The fault lies with me, sir, Hinata said. If I had not been so rash to see Naruto-kun again, this would never have happened. No, child, that isn't it. Take a look at yourself. Your clothes are falling apart, your hair is a tangled mess. You look like something washed ashore. Combined with your teeth, gills, and tails, and anyone would be afraid of you. Even though he didn't mean it like that, each word made Hinata lower her head all the more. Did I say something wrong? Isn't that obvious when she has a confidence problem, Ryoko said. Hinata stood back up and walked into the lake. Oi, Hinata-chan, don't go down there, Naruto said. He dived in after her and found her leaning against the remains of Ayeka's ship, her face hidden in her arms. He motioned up to the surface. She shook her head. No, Naruto-kun. That surprised him, no stuttering. Must be the water calms her. I mean I do look a mess. And now I'm a demoness. You must think I'm hideous. Naruto forced her to look up and she saw he was frowning. He pointed to himself, meaning he was also a demon now. But you are beautiful like this. Those ears and tails, they do you justice. I'm just a monster. Naruto started using ninja sign talk. What I said to you still applies. You are still beautiful and the kindest person I know. Only a blind, mean old demon could not fall for you. A real miser. Stop saying that, she said, a blush on her face. She hid her face again. Naruto lifted her chin up and blew some fire out of his mouth. Though the water tried to extinguish it, he kept it burning with chakra. It created bubbles in a shape. I love you, Hinata-chan. He grinned as his held a tail by her nose. Don't make me tickle you into submission, he signed. I will do it. Hinata smiled. You don't scare me, fox, she said. I command the best hunters in the universe. All you have are foxes. She wrapped her arms around him this time. But I guess I can keep you as a pet. I guess the water makes you more sure of yourself. The water is my natural element, she replied. Now, obviously, we need to do something about my looks. Can you help get the seaweed out of my hair? Sure, and I think I know where to get you some clothing. As I doubt we can just go down to town for it. He tapped the ship hull. Once Hinata was cleaned up a bit, they found the entrance and went inside. Frowning at how the water slowed Naruto down, she made a motion of her hand and it receded. And with it, so did the confident Hinata. So, where is this room, Naruto-kun? Just over there. He tapped the hilt of the Gouda against the door and it opened. Water rushed out and they stepped inside. He went up to the computer and did the exact same thing as Sasami. But he opened the file with the blue name instead. He was fire so it red gems fit him. As Hinata was water, he was willing to bet the blue file had blue gems. One moment please. A beam of light scanned Hinata up and down. Creating. Some light appeared on the bench and when it receded, the clothing was there. I'll go outside while you put them on, Naruto said. He walked outside and covered his eyes just like he had with Sasami. I can't peek, I can't peek. I want to but I can't peek. What was that, Naruto-kun? Nothing. Hinata walked out in the same style of clothing as Naruto now had on. The gems are a good compliment to your eyes, Hinata-chan. Thank you, she said very softly. Should we return back to the surface? Yes. But, I've been thinking, even though I am in my weak element, I am still pretty strong. Enough to lift one side of this. I bet you could lift the whole thing. Maybe, she said, would you help me get this out of the water? It would go a long way to making Ayeka and her sister feel better about being stuck here. But why don't they leave? I was able to walk here. They aren't from this planet. Ryoko, Ayeka, Sasami, they are all from outer space. Oh, outer space. She looked up and took on an involuntary far-off look. He knew she was imagining what that must be like. He did it almost every evening. Then is their ship? It is, what is left of it. I think Ayeka said something about it being able to grow but also take root as well. I don't follow. It is a tree, Hinata-chan. Their technology is based on the manipulation of trees. But once the tree takes root, it will forever be just a tree. The first Hokage would fit right in with them. And he knew that far-off look as well. 700 years. Not only were their family and friends dead, so were their children, and theirs. Maybe even her whole clan. Or even the village. Naruto didn't mind that last part so much. But his friends. He would miss them, the few he had. Let's do this, it helps, Naruto said. Hinata nodded and let the water fill the ship back up. She looked more confident in an instant. I will get on the far side. You take the side right by the door. Grandpa, don't you think they have been down there a bit too long? 3 things, Tenchi. 1. She has gills and would no doubt save Naruto if he couldn't take it. 2. They are both more powerful than you think. 3. They might just be needing a moment of privacy. Young people often do. Grandpa, that is a fact of life, Tenchi, he said with a laugh. Oh, that isn't what I expected. Ayeka, Sasami, you might want to come outside for a few moments. What is it, Lord? Oh my goodness. Is Naruto-san and Hinata-san doing that? Sasami said in amazement. I sure am not, Ryoko said, looking through the wall. Got to admit, the little brats sure are packing one hell of a punch. I might actually have to think about fighting them until I get my 3rd gem back. Ha ha, never one to lack confidence, are you Ryoko? Katsuhito asked. Lady Ayeka, I am sorry, Naruto said, but your tree is taking root. The roots were hanging from the bottom of the ship. But it looks like the main quarters are still working, so if nothing else, you can still use it as a home. My thanks, Lord Naruto, she said in awe at the 2 children holding something that must have weighed a couple of tons at least over their head. Don't thank me, Lady Ayeka. Nor do you have to call me, Lord. Just because I am King of the Foxes it doesn't mean a thing. It was Hinata-chan that did it. I am at half strength in water. She was the one able to do it. Then, I thank you, Lady Hyuga. Did you tell them about me? She asked as the last of the water fell from her. No, you said you were the queen of the sharks, remember? I did, didn't I? You see, Lady Ayeka, Hinata is actually the first daughter of Lord Hyuga Hiyashi of Konoha, our former home. So, she does deserve the lady bit. Naruto, you don't tell a princess who to be respectful to. I apologize, Lady Ayeka. No need to worry, Sasami said. We don't mind, right sister? Ayeka sighed. You really should let people speak for themselves, Sasami. But she is right in this case. We are of equal ranks here. We can be. Ah, what am I looking for, Sasami? I don't know, she said. I think she means informal, Naruto said to Hinata. Where would you like us to sit down? Ryuo was it? Yes, that was it. Where would you like Ryuo placed? Sister, I want to stay close by Tenchi. He did let us live with him, Sasami said. True. And Ryuo will take much water to survive. Can you place him by the lake shore? Naruto smiled knowingly to Hinata. Holding it up with his tails, he showed her his pinky and mouthed, Tenchi. She just smiled back as they set it down about 30 feet from the Masaki house. I don't suggest you move back in just yet, Hinata said. Much is waterlogged. Naruto shook out his fur. I guess that means you will have to stay living inside with us for a bit more, he winked to his friend. His ears twitched and he bent down and picked up Ryooki. This is Hinata, he told her. Hinata blinked a few times at the cabot. Shush, she is, so precious. Naruto just laughed as she hugged the little creature. Tenchi, Sasami said, running up to him. What can I help you with, Sasami? I am looking for a strong tree around here but I don't know the trees of earth. A strong tree, Well, there is the shrine tree, he said. What are you making it for? To make a charm, the girl replied happily. Then I know just the one. Come with me. And don't touch those carrots, Ryooki, he said over his shoulder. The cabot had been hiding and when he turned, she had started out to the ones he was caring for. But stopped when she heard that. Tenchi led her to a tree by the river. Here, this is just the one you need. This tree is a willow. Watch this. Picking her up, he let her grab one of the hanging branches. When he let go, the branch started to lower but didn't break. The willow may not be the strongest out there. But, as you can see, it will take more than most trees. Thank you, Tenchi. Naruto and Hinata were practicing on taijutsu when Sasami came running up. Hinata gave a sneeze. Bless you, Naruto said before giving one himself. Wah, achoo, Naruto-san, Sasami came up and held out a charm. I made this for you. It is a charm the warriors of Jiraiya wear. It is supposed to bring them luck in combat. Naruto smiled, still sneezing, as he picked it up. He wasn't the only one that was sneezing though. Hinata was even more than he was. Achu. Naruto-kun. What, Achu? What is wrong with us? Achu. Katsuhito walked up to them. Let me see that charm, he said. Holding it up to his eyes, he grinned. This is Willow, Sasami. Yes, she said. Tenchi showed me the tree and told me about it. Well, if he had known you were going to make it for this, he would have taken you to a different tree. Naruto and Hinata were still sneezing uncontrollably. Why, grandfather? Willow is supposed to keep demons away. Under which, our two friends here fall into. Come with me, I know a good tree to give warriors strength. He started to walk away. Sasami bowed to Naruto and Hinata as their sneezing let up. I am sorry, Naruto-san, Hinata-san. I didn't know. It is alright, Sasami-chan, Hinata said. At least now. We know what one of our weaknesses is. Now go on, I would still like a charm, Naruto said, pushing her in the direction of Katsuhito. He then sighed. You know, for some reason, I feel this adoration is going to be nothing but trouble. Shall we get back to what we were doing? Hinata nodded. She knew she had nothing to worry about from Sasami, so she didn't feel mad at her. Besides, they haven't actually made it know they cared for each other. Sir, the energy signature is coming from this planet, a crew member said as their ship orbited over the mostly blue planet. Tsunami. The captain said, looking at the screen. Her status? The girls has not awakened her powers yet, another crew member said. She only has minimal of her natural powers. Almost non-existent. The computer says that capturing her, at her skill alone, will have a 97% chance of success. Is there anyone down there that could interfere? 2 no readings, advanced Jirian power signatures. 2 unknown, possibly guardians. Anyone else? The space pirate Ryoko and Ryo-Oki are on the surface as well. It seems that Ryo-Oki has gone through a rebirth phase though. Estimate to be at 80% capability at the highest. Good, you can count this mission a success then. Take us down, our primary target is Tsunami. Secondary is the 2 unknown signatures and Ryo-Oki. The scar down the left side of his face twisted as he smiled. Soon, his just rewards would be coming. And then he would make that woman pay with her sister. Naruto's ears perked up at the sound of it. What was that? He asked, setting down the cup of tea Hinata made for them. What? I didn't hear anything, Ryoko said. It was this big bang, like an explosion. But it came from up in the air. A sonic boom, Tenchi supplied. Whenever a vehicle of some kind passes the speed of sound, it creates that sound. Oh, so another spaceship is coming? No, planes on this planet have reached that speed as well, Tenchi said. But now that I think of it, they don't fly over this area because of the mountains. Ayeka seemed down for some reason. Lady Ayeka, Tenchi said, is something wrong? Couldn't this ship get you home? It could, Lord Tenchi, if indeed it is a spaceship. But I am afraid I will have to turn down the ride. Not until I find my brother. Katsuhito said, he must really be important to you. He is, sir, Ayeka replied. I love my brother very dearly and would do anything to meet him again. I see. Well, since it is your custom, and that Tenchi is of age now, you could always marry him. Nobuyuki, Tenchi's father, laughed at his own joke. Right up until Ryoko knocked him against his head. Don't even joke about that, old man. Tenchi was raised a good person. Can you imagine him having his nose so high up in the air? He has to look down to look up. Are you trying to imply something? Ayeka demanded. There was no implying about it, princess. Just that you live in comfort by taking it from others. There is nothing wrong with being born into a royal house. And you should talk about living off others, pirate. Naruto, Hinata, Nobuyuki, and Tenchi sighed. They are at it again. They looked at each other to see who would volunteer to be the peacemaker. Hinata stood up. Please stop fighting. What if Sasami saw this? You stay out of this, both yelled. Now, Hinata may have been quiet and unsure at times. But she was still a demoness. Apologize right now. Not right now, Ryoko growled. Ayeka completely ignored her, continuing to throw insults at her rival. Fine. A tail wrapped around both of them and held them tightly in the air. I think you T2N need to cool off. Let me go, Ayeka screamed. What is wrong, princess? Ryoko said sweetly. Can't phase through something like a tail? She was about to but found she couldn't. MICH chakra is K keeping B both of you th there, Hinata told them. It was then that they noticed where she was taking them, to the lake. They fought all the harder then but they were held in an vice-like grip. Hinata stepped on the water and walked along the surface to the center. IW warned you. The water then began to split around her until she stood on the bottom of the middle of the lake. And now, see cool off. It came crashing around her and them. To say the two sputter women that walked out of the lake was mad was like saying a shark was a little hungry. A vast understatement. Hinata walked out soaked but as happy as a clam. Are you two willing to play nice now? Asked the confident Hinata. Or do we need to take another swim? Naruto couldn't help but laugh. They glared at her but agreed. Then Ryoko started to laugh. And when she saw why, Hinata did giggle a little as she produced a napkin. Your makeup is running, Ayeka. Here we go, Katsuhito said coming up to a good strong tree. This tree is a red wood from China. The species is the oldest on Earth, old back when even your people was young, I imagine. This particular tree was thought to be extinct. But it is alive and well, obviously. Unlike its younger cousins that have needles, this one has leaves. And has been alive for over 1,000 years. It was born when its mother fell over. But the roots refused to die so another tree was born in its place. Wow, Sasami said, to think there is such trees in the universe. This planet is truly amazing. I would want to live nowhere else in the galaxy, Katsuhito said to her. What is this tree like? I don't know about personality-wise but the bark on it is 2 feet thick. When there is a fire, the bark turns to charcoal, making it fireproof. While this one is short, in optimal conditions, it could grow to 700 feet tall. Sasami found herself leaning backwards to see the top near 100 feet up. The wood itself is resistant to all forms of rot. The reason I know this tree grew from an old one is because I found the old log, still as solid as ever, even after 700 years of resting in the river. I think such a determined to live tree would be better for charms. Thank you, grandfather, Sasami said with a bow. As he walked away, she went up to the tree to look for a knoll or branch that was ready to come off. She was humming to herself as she looked. Here is a good one, she said. She started to make another charm when she heard someone walking over to her. Looking up, she didn't recognize him. The man had a scar on the left side of his face and carried a plasma pistol in his holster. He was from space. Sasami? I am Captain Jiller. I'm here to take you and your sister home. Really? That is great. Can you let me finish this first? I need to give it to Naruto-san and a second one to Hinata-san. I am afraid we are pressed for time. There is a space pirate coming here and my ship is a cruiser, not capable of combat. We must leave now. Your sister is already aboard. He nodded as he said the last part. Sasami felt someone behind her and spun around, only to have something cover her mouth. Naruto looked over at the two men. Their scent said they weren't there to talk. Fight us only if you are willing to die, he told them. They were shocked that he knew what they were there for but quickly overcame their surprise. You two will come with us if you want to live, the right person said. Hinata nodded. I will take care of these T2. You handle the others. Alright, have fun. Naruto vanished from sight as Ryoko and Ryo-Oki came out of the house. I missed something? Several men fell to the ground. Not really, Naruto said, pulling one up by the shirt collar. Why are you here? We were hired to bring one of the princesses of Jiraiya to our employer. The sound of a glass shattering signaled to the others that Ayeka heard what he said. Sasami, where are you? I just left her by the redwood, Katsuhito said. Where is your ship? Wouldn't you like to know? The man swallowed something in his throat. But, I'm not going to be alive to tell you. Good luck, Foxboy. Hinata-chan, make sure no one else swallows. They already did, she said. Ryoko, can Ryo-Oki find another ship? She can do better than that. She can bring it down, she said as the cabot changed into her spaceship form. Tenchi, Ayeka, Ryoko, Naruto, and Hinata were teleported onto the bridge. Leave the crystals alone this time, Ryoko warned. Up in space, they saw the ship waiting for them. It was a battleship but it wasn't blasting its lasers. They want us to come aboard, Tenchi said. Like hell we will, Ryoko yelled. Ryo-Oki, charge your lasers in. Finish that order and you might kill Sasami, Naruto warned. And go into docking procedures, she finished, more than a little deflated. As they came up to the ship, the docking hold opened to let them in. When they were able to, they teleported down to the deck. Ryo-Oki changed into her adult form to help out, before losing her balance and falling over. Miryao, you're not used to it, Ryoko told her. I guess this time, you are out of the fight. Mreow. What else can you do? You come with us, not only can you be hurt, you would be a burden to us. Ryo-Oki frowned before changing into a child. Miryao. She stood up, able to hold herself up on her own and moved to follow them. Ryo-Oki, change back into a cabot, please, Naruto asked. That way, we can take you with us, hidden. So you can come out and fight when we need help the most. She sighed before doing what he asked and hopping up on his shoulders. Let's go. They came to a room with a man with a scar on his face. Welcome to my ship, Ryoko. How long has it been? 800 years? Even longer? I still owe you. As he said that last part, he started tracing his scar. You, what have you done with my sister? Ah, Princess Ayaka, you must have been one of the known signatures. Your sister is fine, she is asleep in the med hold. If you want her, you need only go to her. Get out of our way then, Tenchi yelled. Oh, you must be the other Jiren. I will not. The target must be delivered. If you can beat me though, you can. Naruto glared at him. I will gladly do that, he growled. What are you two? Jiller asked. You wear the garbs of guardians but you are obviously not Jiren. Hinata started but didn't finish. Water circled her, soaking her through. We are Sasami's friends. If you will not let her go, then we will kill you and take her back. So you control water. And you? Fire, he said before his 9 tails caught on fire. Burn. The fire shot from his tail and enveloped the captain. Though the man was gone now, Ryoko didn't look happy. He has the ability to make copies of himself. And they are nowhere near as strong as he is. A man entered from the far chamber. Ryoko, the captain wishes that I entertain you. Go, get Sasami. As they ran off, Ryoko created her energy sword. Naruto glanced back once, seeing her charge forward just as the door slid shut. A man and woman were waiting for them in the next room. The Jireans, they fight us. The captain wants to test the other two personally. Ayaka was covered in a white light before it was dropped and she was wearing a battle garb. You will pay for taking my sister. Naruto, I trust you to get her back, Tenchi said. Make that person pay for what he did, Ayaka yelled. Now, that, I think we can handle, Hinata said. Combing back her hair to keep it from her eyes, she blasted the door with water hard enough to tear it off the wall. Naruto watched her walk away, not helping but noticing the way she swished her tails while walking when she was like this. It still surprised him how a little water made a worlds of difference. He briefly wondered how he had changed as well. Hinata and Naruto came to a large room. In the far wall was the door leading into the med hold. And the captain stood in front of the. I don't appreciate that you did that to my hatch, young lady, Jiller said. But I do appreciate the strength it had to have taken. Yes, I think I will add you to the list. The boy as well for that fire. And Ryo-Oki, because I want her sister to suffer. Just what are you? Naruto growled. I am simply a merchant and trader. But my primary goods are slaves. I was paid handsomely to get the host of Tsunami. So I did. Imagine my surprise when not only do I find her, I wind Ryoko and Ryo-Oki, a lost prince of Jiraiya, and you too. This is the most profit I will make this century. Guda grew a blade. You will not live long enough to spend any of it, Naruto growled. Water pooled around Hinata as she pressed her hand to the ground. A staff made of coral rose from the water. You are worse than my father. He treated family as slaves for the longest time. You will pay for your crimes. Very interesting. That looks like a Jiraiya light sword. But the energy you are using for it is far from theirs. So what are you using? Chakra, Naruto replied. And that staff? It feels alive as well. I take it that it too strengthens you? It does, she replied. She was growling, her fangs in sharp contrast to her normally calm face. I am going to bite your face off. Temper, he started to say before the two threw themselves at him. Hinata and Naruto were not doing so well. They weren't losing but they weren't winning either. Naruto-kun, what are we doing wrong? I don't know. What is so different now as to when we were fighting before? They looked down at their weapons. Oh, something wrong? Yes. We were fighting with weapons that are not really us, Hinata told him. She set down her staff and activated her Byakugan. My hands are all I need right now. Naruto grinned as he slipped Gouda into his belt. We never really fought with those before. But as we were so sure of them, we thought we could. But then, we are natural with our real styles. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Several clones appeared. Gentlemen, my honor to work with you again, a clone said. I have that same ability, Jiller said. An equal number of copies of him was made. Naruto-kun, they each have a tenth of his strength, Hinata said. Your clones are far from the skill level one have, Naruto said. The clones disappeared and reappeared behind them. His copies were destroyed. Pathetic. What on? He didn't finish as Hinata started hitting him with her hands. He hit the wall and still she hit him. 64 trigrams, she said. You won't be able to move for a while. How? How is this possible? Simple, Naruto said as a clone helped him with the next step. A Rasengan formed in his hands. We are demon lords and ninja of the village hidden in the leaves. Even if we are no longer welcome there, we are ninja. With a tap to his headband, he hit him with the lowest level of Rasengan. They turned around when they heard clapping. My strongest clone, and you beat him in moments when you decided to get serious. I am impressed. Naruto turned his glare at him. Shut up. I am taking Sasami back even if I have to destroy this whole damn ship. I can't let that happen, the real Jiller said. Wait until I am back with the others, Naruto-kun, Hinata said as she walked to the door. When it didn't slide open like the others, she slammed her fist through them, grabbed the sides, and pulled. When she had tore the metal open far enough, she went in. Sasami was hooked up to a few machines that were beeping. Sasami, Hinata said, shaking her shoulder. Her face scrunched up and she said, Mama, I'm tired, can't I stay home today? Hinata smiled at that. Let's get you to bed then. Carefully removing the needles and using her chakra to close the small wounds, she disconnected all the wires and tubes. She then picked her up and went back outside. Ryo-oki, come with me. Miryao, she said before hopping onto her shoulders. Hinata started running and Jiller tried to stop her. But Naruto appeared ahead of him, connecting his boot to his head. Your fight is with me, not them, he growled out. As he did, his eyes began glowing red, his fangs grew longer, and his hands became claws. And you have better focus on me, or you won't walk away with just a twisted scar. She heard Naruto release the part of him he had been holding back. Hinata was worried about him if this was what was needed, but she could do nothing about it. Without hand signs, she created several water clones. They all intercepted the crew that tried to stop her. Get out of my way, she yelled. Doing a spin kick, she knocked one into the bulkhead. She found Tenchi and Ayeka finishing off the man they were fighting. The woman was getting back up when Hinata hit her with a blast of water. Naruto-kun said he was going to destroy this ship if that is what it will take to kill Jiller. And he is getting ready to do just that. So we might want to go. When Tenchi and Ayeka saw she didn't stop running, they knew she was serious. They came to the room where Ryoko was fighting and found her still in combat. I heard. Go. I can survive in space just fine. I will need to stay behind to make sure no one follows. A Ryo-oki crystal appeared and changed into her girl form. Miryao. Her energy sword appeared in her hands, looking quite out of place. No. Go with them. Ryo-oki shook her head and pushed Hinata forward. When they were in the docking bay, the original Ryo-oki changed into her ship form. The Ryo-oki with her sister was afraid. She knew she was no use in combat yet. But she had to help. Meow, Miryao. That might work, Ryoko replied. Go ahead. She created an energy blast and shot it at the guy. He saw Ryo-oki lift her sword over her head and point the blade downwards. No. She pushed it through the hull and tore it to the side. Ryo-oki and Ryoko just grinned as they stood there as if the air in the room wasn't being pulled out. The person they were fighting had no such luck. That is going to leave a stain, Ryoko commented, looking at the freezing blood. Well, we should go make sure our little Naruto-kun. An explosion came from another part of the ship. Alarms went off, giving the abandoned ship signal. And they are going to have to go though here too, she commented. The two phased through the wall to go get Naruto. They found him clawing his way back down a corridor, the far end missing. The shields had come up to prevent anyone else from flying out and to retain air in the ship. But Naruto was still blue in the face from the lack of oxygen. Ryo-oki? MREOW. She changed into a ship, further tearing the ship apart, and teleported Naruto and Ryoko into her. Meow, meow. Once again, you have my thanks, Lord Naruto, Ayaka said with a bow. Really you don't have. I do, what you have done can never be repaid but I must try. Lady Ayaka, Hinata started to say. You as well, Lady Hinata. I am in department to the both of you. Honestly, you don't have to say that, isn't that what a guardian does, Naruto said. Huh? I asked Sasami just who the original Izaka and Kamadake were and she told me. I felt so honored that she would give me his clothing that I offered to be her guardian. ID did as well, Hinata said. ANEP person N Naruto-kun believes should be PR protected, IW will. I know my sister is in the best of hands then, Ayaka said, again with a bow. I am even more in your department. The two just sighed. Tsunade sighed as she finished off another bottle. She felt tired now. Like she really was her age. She could only blame it on one thing. Naruto was no longer there saying how much he wanted her job. She sighed, at least she knew he was alive and alright. She had gotten a private message from the new case cage saying that he believed Naruto had faked his death. Moreover, Hinata had gone to find him. Tsunade had been really worried when she went missing but that message put her mind at ease. But only on that matter. She had more to spare now. Sasuke was not being cooperative. He had repeatedly tried to leave Konoha but the detachment of Anbu that were to protect him made sure he stayed this time. Then there was her apprentice, Sakura. She didn't know what to make of herself anymore. With Sasuke leaving and Naruto dying, after bringing him back to a thankless village, she no longer had the same footholds. Hiyashi was breathing down her neck to bring his daughter back. He didn't know where she was, just a few choice details she let him have. And finally Gaara. There was more to the letter he sent. And it wasn't exactly the best of news. First it contained both his and Hinata's express wish for the fact that Naruto had faked his death to be kept from everyone in the village but a very select few. Second, while he did not know where exactly Naruto was, he refused to tell her anything that might lead to the discovery of where he was. Finally, he put Konoha on notice. For driving out his first true friend, the truce between their villages was teetering on the breaking point. While he did not wish for open war, both of them knew there was other ways to hurt Konoha. Taking away customers is only the beginning. Banning Konoha goods and merchants would put a huge hurt on them. And it would only take them a few days at the most to find new suppliers. Konoha would take longer to find new buyers, much longer. Not to mention the produce they bought. Could they find a new buyer before those went bad? Tsunade would much prefer open warfare if the lives were not lost over political warfare. Had Suna taken that route in the first place, they would likely have crippled Konoha, economically, in little more than 5 years. Especially if they got their allies to help. Upon hearing from the case cage, Kumo had decided to strengthen their alliance with Suna over Konoha. Even now, she burned to find out just what did Gaara tell the Raikage that made this happen. Not that the Hyuga clan cared much. They were still more than a little sore over that incident. Hiyashi had finished with Shizune and had gone home, if the sound of his stomping was any sign. Tsunade had told him that she had offered Hinata an S-rank mission to find out more about the demon that killed Naruto and she had accepted. Apparently, she had not felt inclined to tell him about it. Probably because it might take as little as a month to even longer than 3 years. Or so Tsunade had told him. Of course, she had paid him Hinata's pay. But Hiyashi saw it as it was, compensation money. He saw that he wasn't likely to see his daughter again. Shizune stepped into the office. What did I say about drinking, before the... It already is done. Tsunade-sama, what is wrong? Must you even ask? I miss him and I want him back. Even paperwork is better than thinking about him. To think so much hatred is here to force him to leave all that he cares for. It was his decision. I am kind of surprised he did not make it sooner, if the stories of his treatment are even half true. Tsunade dropped her head even more. If I had been here, I could have prevented that. Shizune frowned. If my aunt had a beard, she would be my uncle. What good does "if" do? All we can do is move forward. Maybe Naruto will come back on his own and bring Hinata with him. Maybe a team will find him and bring them back. Or maybe we will never see him again. But, no matter the outcome, we should feel lucky that we met him. And be happy that where he is, he has a chance to be happy now. Tsunade looked up from her desk. When the hell did you get that wise? Funny, I thought I learned it from you, Jiraiya, and Naruto. Tsunade sighed. I'm done here today. Let's head home. 3 years later, village hidden in the rain. So, we can finally get back to it, Deidara asked. Looks like, Sasori said to his partner. Itachi, what has you so quiet? Problems with the Nine Tails? He died. You could have heard a pin drop on grass in that silence. Deidara cleared his throat. Well, if you are going to drop your bad news, so am I. Isanade is no longer of this world as well. Well, that is not good, came the hopeful new member, Toby. 2 of the Biju dead? However are we going to complete our plans then? Pain looked at them. What exactly happened? I do not know, Itachi said. I kept watch on the little brat and saw what happened, Zetsu said. Damn, that was one hell of a surprise. Just wait till you hear what happened, Itachi. We should tell the whole thing, not just the exciting parts. Fuck that. Everyone here wants to know how the Kyuubi died. And I am tired of not telling it. Fine, do whatever you want. The black side of Zetsu laughed in triumph. Your fucked up little brother shoved his fist right through his chest. The Kyuubi brat was dying when all of a sudden, the seal on his stomach faded and these fox ears and tails sprouted from him. The look on both of their faces was priceless. The Kyuubi was crying for a lost friend even as he slammed the other brat into the canyon wall. The look on your brother's face at seeing him still alive was even better. Skipping how much he enjoyed that, the white half said. He went back to his village, bringing everyone on his team back, hurt but alive. And, the people of his village showed they are more fucked up than even me. The dark half laughed while the other side sighed. They called him a demon and threw rocks at him. He must have had enough because he tore off his headband and threw it into the shoulder of one of the ninja that was there, nearly taking it off. He retrieved his things from his home and left Konoha. We tried to follow him as fast as we could but his speed was too much for even us. We found him fighting in the canyon against some sort of demon. And, the stupid bastards from Konoha showed up just in time to see him get blown up. Nothing was left but a tail. And even that didn't last long, it burned up and disappeared. For the love of Kami, will you stop interrupting me? Don't forget to tell them the best part. Don't forget about Iso. Shut the hell up. The other members were growing tired of this display and were about ready to kill him. Anyway, I waited to see if the brat just did it to get away from the village. And what I saw was quite interesting. This involves you, Deidara. Isanade showed up with the one-tailed and a Hyuga woman. What my counterpart was referring to is when the 3 tails brought the woman to his face. Words were exchanged and he made her the 3 tails. She grew 3 shark tail fins. That means the brat became the 9 tails. What more, after a few minutes needed for her to regain consciousness, she looked at the exact spot that the 9 tails disappeared at and dove into it. She too disappeared. So they didn't die, they are just in a location we haven't been able to find. Correct, both sides of Zetsu said. I tried to follow but I could not open it. So I believe this means that only a Biju can open it. Let's just use the location jutsu to find them. It may not be perfect but a general location is better than nothing, Hidan said, annoyed. He wanted to kill something so badly right now. They all nodded and a table came up in front of them. Carved into the wood was a world map. All of them flashed through the same hand signs and pressed their hands to the table. 7 bright flashes appeared on it. Only 7, what the hell? Both Kisame and Deidara yelled. Where the fuck are they? It seems Naruto did not just want to leave his village, Conan said. But leave this world as well. And the 3 tails followed him. They are as good as dead unless we can figure out what had happened and how to find them. Kakuzu frowned, we cannot complete it until we can get them. And to even put the 1 tail in without completing the sequence. We'll destroy it, Pain finished. We have no choice, until we can find them. The 1 tails and 2 tails will be left alone. Itachi, Kisame, Deidara, Sasori, and Toby, find them. Do what you have to. Not that I would hope for such a thing, Toby said as they walked away, but if one of you die, can I have your spot? One more word, and I will kill you, Deidara warned. How? By explosion. He glared at the masked ninja. No, by art. Boom. Present time. Earth. Masaki shine. Naruto yawned the next morning as he stood up and dressed. He was pulling his shirt down and tying the cloak in place when his nose caught the most wonderful scent in the world, next to Hinata-chan's. Ramen. A small, contained tornado ripped through that house. tossing objects as well as people out of the way as it moved to the kitchen and the cook. One moment, Sasami was stirring the noodles, the next, she had been pulled into a spine-popping hug by 2 arms and 9 furry tails. "Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, Naruto-san," she somehow squeaked out with no air in her lungs. "How much is mine, Sasami-chan? I need air." Naruto let her go and kept bouncing from one leg to the other. "The whole pot is for you." Naruto about jumped in the air from joy, grabbed a fork, and was going to eat it straight from the pot. "After I finish it, Naruto. It isn't done cooking and the soup isn't finished." Naruto groaned as he hung his head and all of his tails went limp. He went and sat down at the table. His mind went to what happened yesterday. Both him destroying that ship and what Jiller said to him. "I was paid handsomely to get the host of Tsunami. Is Sasami a Jinchuriki as well?" Naruto wondered. He wanted to ask Sasami but couldn't. She was only a child, what if she didn't know? Then she might see herself as a demon as well. He chuckled at that. But then, her 2 guardians were demons and she takes it rather well. Maybe I'll just start with who Tsunami is. But I'll ask Ayeka. Hinata had smelled ramen before and thought it smelled and tasted good. But she was by no means as big of a lover for it as Naruto. So she had no idea why her stomach suddenly said she had to have it now. That morning, a second tornado ran through the Masaki house. She stopped at the table just as Sasami set the pot down for them. Smiling like a lunatic, she grabbed a bowl and the ladle and helped herself. When Naruto accidentally growled at her for touching his food, she growled back. Before they both slapped a hand over their mouths. "Gomen, Hinata-chan," Naruto said. "I don't know what came over me. I am sorry, and Naruto-kun, I didn't mean. But I just had to have some." Naruto grinned. "So ramen isn't the food of the gods, it is the food of the demons." He gave a quick laugh before he started eating again. He laughed so hard soup almost came out his nose when he saw Hinata had abandoned all manners and was shoveling food into her mouth. It quickly became a contest to eat faster between the two so they could have the most. Tenchi was standing mid-step, still in the position he was in when he first saw them. "Are they even tasting it? I wonder what that smell is," Ryoko said, walking in. "Mind if I try some?" Her reply was growls and fur standing on end. "Ryoko, don't go near them. I'm not sure if it is safe," Tenchi told her. "I think I saw one of them eat their chopsticks before grabbing a spare." At that point, Hinata bit through hers again and grabbed someone else's. But they didn't see her spit out the stick in her mouth. Sasami was staring wide-eyed at them. They were normally the most controlled people she knew, but this. She grinned happily to see her 2 guardians loved her cooking that much. Both finished their bowl and reached for the pot. There was only enough left for one more bowl. They glared death at each other before standing up. "Let's take this outside," Naruto said. Water spiraled around Hinata as she walked out. "That bowl is mine. Winner eats it," Naruto said. Grand Fireball no Jutsu. Water Dragon no Jutsu. The 2 attacks hit each other, fighting for dominance. The fire was being put out by the water was being boiled away by the fire. Steam covered the area and Naruto used his tails to blow it away. What he found was Hinata was no longer there. Oh no, she didn't. He ran back inside and saw Hinata crying as she looked at Ayeka set down an empty bowl that smelled of ramen. "I don't know what that was, but it was very good, Sasami." "Thank you, Nisan, but that was for Naruto-san and Hinata-san." "Oh?" She looked at the 2 and saw them crying over their lost ramen. "I didn't know. But you shouldn't have left it alone on the table." Straightening up, they nodded before looking away from each other. "Next time, the last bowl is mine." They both shouted in their heads. "Lady Ayeka, may I ask you a question about Jiraiya?" Naruto said. "Of course, Lord Naruto. What is Tsunami? How did you hear that?" "Tsunami is the protective deity of our planet. She has been very kind to us and gave us the most beautiful planet in the universe. Although Earth is her rival. Does that satisfy your question?" "It does. But what does she have to do with Sasami?" "She gave the royal Jiraiyan family their powers. Sasami hasn't awoken hers yet, but in time, Tsunami will give her her abilities." Naruto nodded. Maybe I misunderstood him. By the way, have you ever heard of the term, Jinchuriki? No, I am afraid not. My thanks for your time, Lady Ayeka. Naruto-san, may I ask something of you and Hinata-san, Tenchi's grandfather said. Of course, Naruto replied. I have a friend that runs a shrine a week's travel from here. I would like you two to go and check up on him. I don't mind, but I will not leave Sasami-chan behind unprotected. Then take her with you, Katsuhito told him. But what about everyone there? Naruto, we survived before Sasami and Hinata started cooking for us. We can do it for the day or two it take you three to get there, the day there, and the return trip. But won't he? Naruto glanced at his tails. He could put a genjutsu to cover them up on himself. But he didn't want to. He had grown proud of them in his time that he had them. Naruto, he is a priest of his shrine, an old one like myself. He will take it in good stride. Besides, his shrine is dedicated to Kami's messengers. If you are sure then I am, Naruto told him with a grin. He left his office and went looking for Hinata and Sasami. Naruto found them in a field. Sasami was picking flowers while Hinata stood a protective watch. Hey you two, how does a vacation sound? Sasami jumped up. That sounds great Naruto-san. But I would rather explore this planet first. Hinata smiled a little. Sasami-chan. We view vacations as L leaving the area, and not the world. Where to, and Naruto-kun. Another shrine a week away. Katsuhito asked me to check up on his friend over there. And I thought this would be an excellent time to see our new home a little. He walked over and picked up Sasami and put her on his shoulders. I'm going to jump home so we can get some supplies. Ready? Sasami nodded, wrapping her hands around his forehead. She felt his forehead protector under her arm. Unlike Hinata-san's, it did not have a symbol on it. Just the metal plate. The next moment, Naruto jumped into the air. Whoa! By that evening, Naruto and Hinata stopped their ninja run and sat down atop of a peak of one of the low-lying mountains of the area. Sasami stood on her feet all of 2 seconds before stumbling. That was very fun, she said, a little dizzy. The next day, found the three in a very good mood. Tell everybody I'm on my way. New friends and new places to see. With blue skies ahead, yes I'm on my way, and there's no place I'd rather be. The Kyuubi was singing to keep the high spirits up. Tell everybody I'm on my way. And I'm loving every step I take. With the sun beating down, yes, I'm on my way. And I can't keep this smile off my face. Naruto, Hinata, and Sasami arrived to find the shrine was throwing a celebration. The two smiled at their good luck. Everywhere there were people in costumes. They walked out into the street and sent Sasami down. Naruto walked down and noticed so many things that made him wonder. The best of it was that no one was glaring at him. He almost tripped when he felt something soft and furry rub his legs. Looking down, he smiled when he saw a fox kit looking up at him. Now what are you doing here? This celebration welcomes foxes, Lord, the kid said, very politely. I am surprised that you decided to visit as well. Naruto picked the little girl up and showed her to Sasami. Cute, no? She is precious. May I pet her? The kid nodded and found herself being cuddled. What is her name? Ryer, Naruto supplied, scratching her ears. The temple is just up the road, we can go there and then enjoy the fair. Naruto's head came over the top step on the stairs and his jaw dropped. It was a temple dedicated to 9-tailed foxes. Hinata-chan, you will not believe this. She giggled when she saw it. Spying a priest, she went over to him. Excuse me, sir, may I ask you a Q question? You may. You are supposed to be Icinate of water, are you not? Hinata froze for a moment then realized he was talking about her costume. Why yes. Is High P Priest Yahiko H here? Yes. He is in his study right now. I am afraid he is sad that we must close the shrine down. Naruto perked his ears at those words. Why must you? Not enough people coming here, young one. Moreover, it appears that the temple's guardian spirit has left. For no foxes has been seen in this area in some time. The two Biju looked at the kit still being held by Sasami. I stand corrected. May I ask why you three are here? We were asked by Katsuhito of the Masaki Shrine to visit his friend to see how he was doing. Oh, that is good news. Maybe you can convince him that selling to that company is not the best answer. Although, I am afraid that maybe even Kyuubi no Yoko would be needed to show people that these shrines are still used by the ancient spirits. Naruto couldn't help but grin at that. This was to all the foxes that grew 9 tails, right? He would not stand for it to be closed. He winked at the others before walking away. A few moments later, a fox's yip was heard behind them. The priest spun around and his jaw almost hit the ground. I don't believe it. There before them, a nine-tailed fox was walking up to the temple. It gave another cry, one that almost sounded like a laugh, and a squeal. The priest couldn't even move as it walked up to the door and scratched at it to be let it. The door opened and the head priest poked his head out. Yes, Tai, who knocked. He looked around at all the staring visitors and his apprentice, who only pointed down. At another cry from the fox, he looked down. Great Kami. He opened the door to get a better look at the creature. It slipped inside. He followed it and so did everyone else. The fox was curled up on the coin box, twitching all 9 of its tails like a person strumming their fingers. Mommy, is that a real fox? A little girl asked her mom. A really bold child went up and pet the fox. The fox leaned his head against it, giving a satisfied laugh-like cry. Tai went up to Yahiko. Sir, what does this mean? If a 9-tails itself wants to settle here, that would be the greatest blessing this shrine would have received in years. But too many wheels are moving already. This is the last celebration of this shrine. The fox gave a disapproving snarl, something that sounded like the combination of a cat's hiss and a growl. Maybe relocate the shrine then, someone offered. Such a suitable location would be hard to find, Yahiko replied. The boy was still petting the fox. Dad, can we keep him? The fox gave a yip, an obvious no. Hinata was having trouble not to smile. She looked around at the people gathered and saw someone was recording this. Oh, the trouble Naruto was going to cause. Ryer gave a yip from Sasami's arms and jumped down. She ran up and started to try and catch the twitching tails. The older fox just watched, twitching at the right moment to make her miss. Finally, she let the kid get a tail. She tried to trash around a bit and was able to pull a clump of fur off. The 9 tails stood up, picked the kid up in his jaws, and ran from the temple. The children tried to follow it. Outside, they were heard saying, "Where did they go?" This obviously that the temple is still in favor with the great foxes, the elder priest said. I cannot let it be destroyed. Like I offered before, maybe relocate it if you cannot keep the land, the man that said it came up. I am Harakara of the Harakara Industries. And I would like to sponsor the move if you cannot, Mr. Harakara said to them. Where would you like it moved? I don't know, Yahiko said. Someplace where people will still come to pray. But where the touch of the present isn't as strong. I might know of a place, Naruto said, already back with his friends. Mr. Yahiko, I am Uzumaki Naruto, a friend of Katsuhito. He asked me to check up on you while I was visiting. Maybe you can set your shrine in the same area. I know that there are plenty of foxes there. He does because they seem to flock to him. Good old Katsuhito, always one step ahead. I will call him and find out tonight. I will tell him you delivered your message. Enjoy your time at the festival. Yahiko couldn't help but smile. A person that was there and saw the whole thing had taken that piece of fur and sent it to a lab, saying it had to be fake or something. But he knew it was no fake. That fox was as real as the one that just walked into his room. Again? The fox nodded and jumped up on his desk. It was grinning at him. Before being covered in fire and turning into the boy from that afternoon. Hello, Yahiko-san. Yahiko wasn't sure but he thought he was going to pass out. How? What? Who? Why? All that is needed now is where and when, Naruto said with a grin. What do you think, Hinata-chan? I think we are going to give him a heart attack, Hinata said from the window, her cloths wet, and a tail rubbing her nose. Forgive the water, please. Now, in order. I am not human, Naruto said. What and why this is going on is exactly what we said. I am a 9-tailed fox. The 9-tailed fox, Kyuubi no Yoko. And Hinata is better known as the 3-tailed shark, Isanade. This is a little much, I know. Move your temple to the area I suggested. I would very much like to visit it again. Of course, Kyuubi-sama. It shall be done. Naruto smiled his thanks. One of those things that few people didn't know about him was that he hated the past being forgotten. Not things like what a person did. Everyone deserved a chance to start over. He meant things like the shrines dedicated to gods even though few people came to them anymore. By the way, I saw a large crowd making their way here. Apparently, word about a 9-tailed fox visiting one of its shrines that was being closed down. There was a knock at the door. Come in, Sasami-chan. The blue-haired child from this afternoon walked in, carrying the sleeping fox kit. Naruto-san, Hinata-san. I'm getting kind of tired. And, there are people visiting for the evening prayer. Hinata-chan, think they want to see another Nine Tails? He grinned mischievously. They seem to have forgotten that foxes are also pranksters. Yahiko blanched. His grandfather had told him stories of the trouble a fox could do when he was mad or in a very happy mood. They could be malicious or good-natured, but they always were very troublesome. And to have it here, now, during the festival, would ruin the reputation of the shrine. Please, Lord Kitsune, don't do anything rash nor harmful, he said with a bow on his knees. They are here to give thanks to you and all other foxes, don't hurt them. Naruto blinked in surprise. Did I honestly sound that serious? I was just planning to change into a fox and run around the room while they try, and fail, to get pictures and such. Maybe steal someone's dinner if they brought it. Nothing but a nuisance. Hinata-chan wouldn't let me do anything really fun. The two stuck their tongues out at each other. The priest couldn't believe this, they were acting like children. I have to say, I expected something else from two of the great Biju. They are great, aren't they? Sasami said excitedly. And they swore to be my guardians. He looked at them. She will only live for 100 years max, Hinata said to him. We will live until eternity. She honored us so we will honor her then. But a human child living with. Not that kind of guardian. We haven't adopted her, Naruto said. She is of forgotten royal blood. This is Princess Jiraiya Sasami of the Jiraiya clan. Though the clan has died, she and her sister are still princesses, at least to use. Naruto was always good at creating a lie on the spot. This priest had absorbed enough for one day. The two Biju stood up and walked over to Sasami. Naruto put her up on his shoulders and started walking to the door. Wait, Lord and Lady. I must ask. Is Kami real? They looked at him and let out a sigh. Not of annoyance but content. Have we met her? No. Does she exist? I believe she does, Naruto said. In our lives, we have seen much that defies even our explanation. But yes, we can see the plan that formed them. Just not the result yet, Hinata finished. We will see you soon, Yahiko-san. They walked out, leaving a stunned priest. She? Kami is a woman? The three walked into the night. With Naruto and Hinata singing Sasami to sleep. Even those who are gone are with us as we go on. Your journey has only begun. Tears of pain, tears of joy. One thing nothing can destroy is our pride deep inside. We are one. We are one, you and I. We are like the endless sky. One family under the sun. All the wisdom to lead, all the courage that you need. You will find when you see we are one. So, Jiller not only failed to capture her, he got himself killed and his ship destroyed. Perhaps I overestimated him. Wouldn't you say so, Washu? The statue did not reply. No, the kitsune was not destroyed, it was taken down to the planet. Sensors read that the ship is flooded and is running a diagnostic on every available system. Now I wonder who did that? Could it be? Your daughters are not down there, could they? And with a full-blown dreadnought, the trouble they caused before will be nothing. The man pushed his glasses up further on his nose as a laugh escaped his lips. A red dot appeared on his monitor. Oh, look, Washu. A galactic police officer is heading to the same planet. This, Earth. Registration. Isn't that a surprise? It appears it is Kuramitsu Mihishi. Your great, mortal granddaughter. Looks like Everone is showing up on this planet. Might as well make my appearance as well. Ryoko looked around and saw that no one was looking. She then went to the lake and stood on the water before dropping down below the surface. There, at the very bottom, shrunken to the size of a motorcycle, was the ship, Kitsune. Now let's take a look, shall we? Engine, functioning. Hull integrity, 75%. Expected time for repair with supplies is 28 galactic hours. I believe that is more than 2 days on Earth, Ryoko said to herself. So, scan for available raw materials. A beam of light filled the water, going into space. Scan complete, a computer voice said. Available materials in system will repair 53% of damages. Insufficient raw materials to complete repair. Wrong. Use the debris and other things in orbit around the planet to do it then. Scanning. Enough refined materials for 272% repairs. Begin drawing in materials? The projection screen created two squares. One said, yes, while the other said, no. Ryoko pressed, yes. Drawing in materials now. Thank you, young lady, the merchant said as his ship started working again. Think nothing of it, sir, GP Officer Mihashi said to him. This will be enough to get you back onto trade routes and to be picked up by Galaxy police patrols. I have already sent the message that your ship is in needs of repairs and they will take you to headquarters to get them. I really am lucky that such a nice woman like you is working in this sector. I guess your superiors wanted to make sure such a nice woman like yourself stayed away from harm yet still be of help. After that, he left. Mihashi yawned as she continued her patrol. She knew what this assignment really was. An out-of-the-way post where they could pretend she didn't exist. She had caused so much trouble that she wasn't surprised. Yes, her record said she was an excellent officer. And she was, to an extent. But even she would admit she was a klutz at times. Is there anything else that needs my attention? She asked her ship AI. Despite this being just short of banishment, she still liked it out here and took it seriously. This quiet little part of the universe was perfect for her. I believe not, Mihashi, the ship replied. If you would like, I will take over piloting while you catch up on your sleep. Thanks, Ryu Domi, Mihashi said before going to her room. She had just laid her head down when her whole ship was rocked like it was hit by an asteroid. What happened? She jumped up, put her clothing back, and ran to the bridge. We seem to be caught in some sort of gravity beam, Ryu Domi replied. But this is one of the GP newest cruisers. Nothing short of a frigate should be able to hold us here. Running a feedback loop on the beam, the computer said. Unknown origin of ship, but from the size of the energy core, it is a dreadnought. Where is it? Mihashi asked as she turned her monitors left and right to find the ship. Coming from the surface of the third planet, Earth. Judging by the beam, it is a repair scanner. Why would someone take off the safeties for this? Checking. There isn't enough raw materials in the system, but there is enough debris around the planet. We must have gotten too close. She let out a sigh of relief. Okay then, simply hail the ship captain and tell him the situation. I am sure you will let us go then. Lady Mihashi. The ship is running on automated and has currently shrunken down to avoid detection. Moreover, the damage to the ship has also damaged the ship's AI. It has no one at the controls that can perform such an action. That is too bad. Nani? But we are going to die then. Not necessarily. It is possible to abandon ship when it has reached the high needed for the reduction process to take place. The pause will only be 5 seconds, but it will be long enough if timed correctly. The Ryu Domi came down to Earth and settled over a lake. At that instant, a hatch opened and the woman aboard jumped out, holding the core programming for her friend. Tenchi saw the ship stop and the woman jump. He ran to the lake to see if he could help her. But she didn't come back up. He dived into the water and began searching for her. He saw a flash of blonde and swam to it. Wrapping an arm around her chest, he started swimming back to the surface. As he did, more of the micrometeors entered the water. He was grateful that the ship was the only piece that size that came down. Reaching the shore, he set the woman on the sand. She was wearing a uniform. And she wasn't breathing. Pressing 2 fingers to her neck, he found a pulse. So he took a deep breath, pinched her nose shut, and breathed into her mouth. When she started coughing, he rolled her onto her side to let the water flow from her right lung at least. Are you alright? Tenchi asked her. She nodded a brief yes before passing out. She was asleep but alive. Shukaku was stumped. He was tired of this imprisonment. 3 human generations have passed since he was first placed within a human prison, then the jar. He had enough. But as long as they kept using that jutsu on him, it would continue. His only hope of changing the course he was stuck on was his current host, who he hadn't been able to control since he was let out 4 years ago. Something that the host for the Kyuubi said had strengthened his resolve to never let him out again. I give up, he said to Gaara. So you will finally leave me in peace then, Gaara said to him. If we make a deal, in more ways than one, pup. What do you want? Like I need to ask. I want out, of course. And I am willing to give up something for that freedom again. I know of your deal with Isanade. What of it? I will make you the new one-tailed raccoon dog if you agree to release me. And what becomes of you? Gaara was wondering about that. He checked up on Isanade personally. And the shark was still asleep at the bottom of his cove, unmoving. I will become as a normal demon. Still more powerful than you will believe, but not the strength I once had. But first I will sleep for a few hundred years. I'd say about 700 to be exact. And you will leave my village alone? You will only even hear me laugh from your memories. Is it a deal? Do it. 2 months later, Kumogakure. We are honored to receive you, Cage, the Raikage said. He was not the same Raikage as the one that had caused so much trouble in Konoha years earlier. This man was fair and just. Not the least bit harsh when it was not needed. At the age of 21, the blonde man still easily smiled despite the world. Or maybe despite it. He did not give in to it readily. The honor is once again mine, my friend, Gaara said to him, grasping his offered hand. His eyes still were black around them, but you could tell he had slept well in the last few months. Tell me, how is Yugito-san? She is fine, training hard for if those men you warned us about decides to show up. So, new fashion accessory? He pointed to a piece of fur that went up the Kazakage's back, behind the gourd, over his shoulder, and tucked into his belt. Something like that. May I speak with her? The Raikage laughed. I wouldn't presume to answer for her. But if she is willing, then I am not against it. He leaned in close. Do try to keep her in a good mood. She has been growing frustrated with men recently, though I don't know why. Anyway, she seems to have a short temper for us right now. His attendant sighed. She knew why, so she explained it to the dense Cage. It is called frustrations. The two blushed at it being put so bluntly. Oh, ahem, Gaara said to get Yugito's attention. She snarled as she turned around but relaxed when she saw who it was. Gaara-sama, I did not realize you were coming, she said with a happy smile. She had befriended the young man when he came to sign the treaty between their villages not long after his friend passed away. It was not planned until a few weeks ago. I have some things to tell you. You will actually be the first I told for one of them of this. She grinned at his trust in her. Let me have it, she said in challenge that whatever it was, she would keep it secret. While going through my library, I found the scroll of the Sandiami Cage. He had made notes about the previous one-tailed Jinchuriki before he died. One of them concerned that he died because Shukaku was extracted from him. The silence between them was deafening as this sunk in. So, if Nekomata was ever pulled from me, I would be killed in the process. Yes, our crutch to life has become the demon chakra we were cursed with, Gaara told her. Hey, you look like you have been sleeping, she said with a fake smile. She needed to change the subject. I have been. Shukaku and myself have come to a deal. Which concerns the next thing I wish to tell you. Yugito looked at him eagerly. I am no longer the Jinchuriki of the one-tailed raccoon dog. I am now the new one-tailed raccoon dog. Yugito jumped back, her weapon ready as his tail moved. Shukaku. You killed Gaara-sama, didn't you? No, you misunderstand. The Biju have the ability to assign heirs to their power and position. Shukaku has given up his so that he can once again be free. I am still Sabaku no Gaara. Just I am the king of raccoons as well. Why would he do that? Nekomata had been listening to the whole conversation. Because, kitten, how long would you wish for freedom before you finally are willing to give up your rank as a Jonin to get it? The two-tailed cat said through her mouth. But I sense that you told her this for a reason. Are you hoping I will make the same deal, oh Raccoon-kun? Yes, Gaara said. The Akatsuki will become active again once they figure out how to get Naruto and Hinata, the new Kyuubi and Isanade. It is but a matter of time. So the choice is, you can stay inside of Yugito-san, and pray that she is strong enough to beat 10S ranked criminals. Doing this of course risks that she will not be able to. And if she loses, she dies and you won't even come out in your avatar form once you are sealed inside their statue. Nekomata hesitated, so he kept going. Or you can free yourself now and let them just hunt Yugito. She will stay alive that way and you will be free to do as you please again. The Biju that have passed on their title are sleeping for 700 years. By then, Akatsuki will obviously be no more. And while you will no longer be the queen of cats and all things feline, you will still hold considerable power in this world. Not to mention that you will finally be able to live in peace and maybe even visit your students. I'd say that Yugito would have several kids by the end of 700 years. Nekomata frowned while Yugito smiled. Very shrewd, Gaara-sama. Nekomata looked downcast for a moment. She very much wanted kittens of her own. But no doubt what had happened to Shukaku would happen to her if she stayed. Was her pride worth that much? A litter for her to look after and care for. I will do it. Kitten, looks like we will part ways now. Earth, present time. Hinata looked her over. She had learned a few medical ninjutsu while under Kurenai. Shush, she will be fine. A bad bump to the H-head is all. You saved her life, Tenchi-kun. I really didn't do that much, Tenchi said, rubbing the back of his head like he had seen Naruto do a few times. Ryoko thought differently. She jumped on his back, hugging him from behind. You're just being modest. You are the hero in this case, Tenchi. I would rather leave that to guardians. Naruto laughed. But if you don't take over, we will never get any sleep. Nope, you're stuck with it, pervert. Tenchi sighed. Naruto still hasn't forgotten that incident with Ryoko. Hinata-san, what's a pervert? Sasami asked. She glared at Naruto. Nothing really, just a title where we come from. One that Naruto really shouldn't use here. She finished glaring at him again. Naruto just smiled and held his hands in front of his chest to ward off her anger. Lady Ayaka, Kamadake said. This woman appears to be the registered Galaxy police officer of the sector, Kuramitsu Mihashi. But why did she crash here on Earth? Azaka supplied the answer. The beam that caught her ship was the repair system of a military-class ship. She must have gotten caught in it. But there are no military ships on this planet. Ryoko, you wouldn't happen to know anything about this, would you? Why do you suspect me? Everyone looked at her, a blank look on their faces. Hey, I can be innocent at times as well. That made Naruto laugh. Why don't you just tell them that you kept the battleship? Because I was trying to keep it a secret. And how did you know? Hinata spends a lot of time down at the bottom of the lake. I was looking for her and we both saw it. I like the name and the fox on the forward hull. You mean to tell me you have had a ship here this whole time and you were just sitting on it? Ayaka screamed. Of course not, Ryoko replied. It is much too hard to sit on. She grinned at her rival as she sputtered a reply. Sister, why are you mad? If Ryoko wanted it, what is so wrong with keeping it? It isn't Jurian. Because, Ryoko supplied, not only could this get her a new hope, the sensors on it could pick up a fly in a beehive. It would have no problem finding her brother. Isn't that right, princess? I demand that you give me that ship. A child Ryo-Oki came in meowing. Ryoko looked aghast. How was I supposed to know she was going to get caught in it? Ryoko replied, ignoring Ayaka. I am not. No is no. What is she saying? Tenchi asked. She is saying that it is Ryoko's fault that Lady Mihashi is now stuck here without a ship herself and she should give the kitsune to her, Naruto told them. Ryer mewed herself as she listened to the two siblings argue back and forth. Ryoko, your sister is right, Katsuhito said. You almost caused her death and did cause the destruction of her ship. I may not know how it works in space, but on Earth, you are expected to replace damaged vehicles, repair them, or pay for them. Ryoko grumbled about people ganging up on her as well as that was how it worked in space as well. Fine, I'll give her the damn ship. At that moment, Mihashi decided to wake up. Good morning, she said with a stretch and a yawn. Not even realizing they were there, she took the fuzzy thing from her side and it changed into a square. She started toying with it and a screen popped up. Huh? Formerly wanted criminals, Ryo-Oki and Ryoko are in the immediate vicinity. She stood up and started walking. Ryo-Oki 5 feet, Ryoko, 6 feet. She wasn't paying attention so she bumped into them. Oh, pardon me. She looked up from the old wanted poster of the two from 700 years ago to see one of the women there and a child that looked just like the other there as well. Oh, you two must be. Everyone tensed, this couldn't be good. They're family. Naruto laughed while Hinata giggled. She did take a hard hit to the head. She might be a bit giddy for a few days but should be better soon, she explained. Lady Mihashi, those are Ryoko and Ryo-Oki, Naruto explained. She looked confused. But how? The girl obviously couldn't be her. This picture was from a long time ago. I wasn't even born yet. And there is no way someone could look the same after so long. Even the Jurian royal family don't age that well. Maybe she isn't so giddy, it is sound logic, Hinata said. But they are. Happens when you are sealed. Ah, that explains it. Lady Ryoko and Ryo-Oki, I, Kuramitsu Mihashi of the Galaxy Police, hereby. Again everyone tensed. Warn you to be on your best behavior now that you have been cleared of all charges. This is a chance for a new beginning and a clean slate. Make the best of it, Mihashi said with a smile. Now, where is Ryudomi? Lady Mihashi, I am here, the computer said from the table where he had been placed. How can I be of service? Oh yeah, our ship was destroyed. Nani? Then how am I going to return to duty? Her eyes grew dizzy and she fainted, to be caught by Tenchi. Lady Mihashi, the cube said, worriedly. I guess I have to apologize, Ryoko said to Mihashi. The officer was sitting on her legs, looking at the sunset, unmoving as far as Ryoko could tell. She didn't reply. I honestly didn't know you would get caught. Still no reply. Hey, the least you could do is say something. Finally she saw movement as Mihashi set down the cup of tea she had been drinking. Hinata-san, that was the best tea I have ever had. May I have more? Hinata smiled at the look on Ryoko's face. Before more could be said, Mihashi turned to Ryoko. Apology accepted, Miss Ryoko. But I will have to inform this to my chain of command. This isn't the best start to your new life. She still smiled and that grin grew wider as Hinata brought another pot of tea out. Thank you. Would you like some? She asked Ryoko. Ryoko opened and closed her mouth several times before sighing in defeat. Sure, can you please not inform your leaders? All damage and destruction of Galaxy Police property must be reported along with the cause, she quoted from regulations. And the offender is expected to make compensations for said damage. Well, I think I might be able to solve that here and now. If you please say that it didn't happen like it did. Mihashi looked at her wearily. If you mean a bribe, I won't take it. Especially not stolen money. No, you can have the ship that pulled you down. It is a first-class ship, second to few. It would no doubt be even better than your old ship. Plus, its worth will easily cover personal belongings lost because of it. Mihashi thought about it. I will need to inspect this ship and I will have to say how it came to be in my possession. I took it from space, it was abandoned because of the damage. There are no life pods on it nor any short-range ships on it anymore, but it still works. Especially now that it is fixed. Okay. She took another sip of tea and sighed contentedly. Since you are trying to make up for it, I guess I can alter the truth a little. I'll say that the ship's subsystems were working still and it malfunctioned and activated. Thus, no blame will be cast on you. Plus, as you offered the ship as compensation, you will be, if to no one else but me, in favor with the Galaxy Police. Ryoko sighed in relief. That's good. Undisclosed location, somewhere in the land of water. 3 months after the meeting with Yugito. Cage-Sama, the man said. So what do I owe the honor of meeting you and Lady Ni? I am looking for someone's, Gaara said. Of course, I am the best tracking this side of the continent. A person would come to me for no other reason. We need to find a grown man with a tattoo under both eyes like a tail, Yugito said. Her tails were wrapped around her waist like a belt. I will see what I can do, the tracker said. He was about to leave and get started but stopped. I sense that there is more. There is, Raiden-san, the two said. Raiden rubbed a hand over the top half of his face. He looked like he had gotten a really bad, uneven tan, with below his nose a normal skin tone while the rest of his face was bronzed. He had been described as wearing a half mask more than once. Personally, he thought it was reminiscent of a weasel's fur. And for a good reason. Then it hit him like a ton of bricks. The two in front of him had some form of facial oddity. The man they were looking for did as well. And Raiden no longer thought it was a tattoo. You want me, and not for my services. Correct, Yugito said with a smile. Both you and Raiju Dono, Gaara said. Perhaps there is somewhere we can speak in private. You both are also like me, aren't you? Raiden asked, ignoring his statement. We are. Let us find some place where. More people cursed, Raiden said. He took a good look at them. Yugito had the slanted eyes like a cat while Gaara looked like he wore a raccoon's mask. And so is this man you want me to find. Yugito frowned. Gaara was a person to respect to her. And interrupting him was not showing him respect. Raiden, do not interrupt him again. And what are you going to do about it, little girl? He asked, getting mad. It looked like his tan was deepening. I don't think there is much you can do. The unexpected happened next. The voice of reason was heard, from Raiju. Cub, stop being so disrespectful. These two could kill you with a wave from their hands. The voice came from his mouth. And it left a surprised expression on his face. Lord Raccoon Dog, Lady Cat, I ask that you forgive his arrogance. What the hell are you two that you have Raiju scared for mine and his life? I am Gaara, king of all raccoons, the new one-tailed Biju. And I am Yugito, queen of all cats, the new two-tailed Biju. And we have full control of the power that comes with the title. He started to back away in fear. My God, he hit the wall he forgot was there. We are not here to hurt you, we are here to help you, Gaara said. You and Raiju both. How? By making the same offer to him as I made to Nekomata. as I will make to the four-tailed winged serpent. Freedom, in exchange for going to sleep for the next 700 years. No, I know that if he is forced from my body, I die, Raiden said. True, but there is more to it than just that, isn't there, Raiju? They did it, didn't they? They didn't die, but passed on their title. They did. Raiden, Yugito spoke up while dropping her tails to show him them. The Biju have as little desire to die as much as we do for the most part. Their life is now tied to a mortal. So they will die when we do unless they are forced out. Meaning they are once again trapped. Does either of these sound like a good option? No. Right now, Nekomata and Shukaku are free. They have lost a lot of energy and need to sleep it off. But they are free. In 700 years, when they awake, they will have their life again. A blink of an eye to us, especially when we are asleep. But we did not just free them, all things come with a price. Ours, and yours as well, is that we need the demonic chakra to continue living. The only way for that is if he gives up his title to you. We make this deal and I am free of him? Never to hear him whisper in the back of my mind again? Only in your memories, Gaara said. But he must agree to this as well. Who all have done this? The nine-tailed fox was the first to do it, Gaara told them. He tricked his Jinchuriki and took his place when he died, giving him his power and tails. Isanade was next. I don't know why he did it. Maybe he thought he had nothing to lose. Or he knew Akatsuki would come for him. Akatsuki asked both Raiden and Raiju. A group after all the Biju, Yugito told him. Including ones like ourselves. So, you have made yourselves more of a target for them. No, Gaara replied. They will come after us either way. This way, no matter what, we will survive. And our occupants will remain free. Definitely has all the good points while you keep the bad, save for my power staying with you. What say you? Want to become the six-tailed weasel? The Biju of lightning? What do I do? They were in a field as Raiden finished the last hand sign. Then the seal on his right shoulder and part of his neck appeared and turned white. He started heaving and chakra came out his mouth. After what must have felt like eternity to him, it stopped coming out and formed a six-tailed, yellow weasel the size of a small dog. Raiju lifted his nose in the air and breathed it in. I'm free. I'm free. Cub asked for something outrageous. Tell me to call a lightning storm like that time the village was attacked. Make a storm. No way. The weasel began to laugh and run around, excitedly, still chanting, I'm free. Over and over again. Then he fell and didn't move. I'm tired, he said in a voice that sounded that it barely had the energy to say that. Yugito and Gaara laughed at that. Yugito went over, picked him up, and cradled him in her arms, scratching his head. I'll find you a den no one will think to look in. Gaara turned to look at Raiden. Those tails fit rather well with the fur on your face. Raiden reached up in horror, and found his face still the same. He glared at the smirking one tails. Then he looked behind him and saw 6 weasel tails as long as he was tall, all of them a bright yellow. That wasn't funny. Yes it was, both Yugito and Gaara said. Gaara, I am going into the mountains in lightning to find him a cave he will be safe in, Yugito said. I will see you when you talk to the 4 tails. She turned and started running. In seconds, she was no longer in sight. Whoa, do I have that kind of power? Raiden asked. Running like that? Yes. I suggest you think of a way to conceal them like Yugito and I have. And I must ask that you start looking for the man I asked you to. Just to let you know, all your senses are now 10 times better. My senses? So I can see farther, taste more, feel more details. And want to die if someone happens to fart in your face, Gaara warned. He turned in the direction of Suna and left as well. Raiden watched him go. Then he grinned before bunching up his legs. He jumped and went over 100 feet in the air, laughing. After an hour of this, he said, really, this is the last one. It wasn't.